Good, beautiful Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Coach Darwin Rivers, and you are on your weekly weekend habit. The HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa. And today is March 12th, and we have a very special guest today, Mr. Mitch Tacus, who will be discussing about what an HR newbie should know. But that will be at the second part of our program, and he will be sharing to us his journey as part of the Gen Z entering into the corporate world as an HR professional. So let us start our program for today. The HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa is an online talk show program that is aired live every Sunday, 3 p.m. And we are sponsored by the Philippines HR Group, the largest online community. We are also the longest running HR online program. We've started this HR Cafe at the start of the pandemic, way back 2020, and we're now at episode 128. Let me introduce to you the HR Cafe servers. As I mentioned, my name is Coach Darwin Rivers. I'm the founder and president of the Philippines HR Group. I'm a certified life coach, public speaker, and motivational speaker, and an HR consultant. I'm also the VP for HR of a BPO company. And joining me today is none other than our Mentor Stina Coang. Mentor Stina is an operations and HR leader with broad local and overseas experience. She's a general manager for a retail company, an online content creator and blogger, best known for her blog tinainmanila.com. She's also one of LinkedIn's top 100 Filipinos to follow. Better Tina, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to all. This is actually a very good treat because we're featuring a topic that is close to most people's hearts. Pag ikaw ay bago pa lang sa HR industry, ano ang kailangan mong gawin? And I'm very proud to have our good friend Mitch Daryll Tacus to be our guest speaker for today. For everyone who is watching, please leave your name, your address, where you are in the Philippines or overseas, so we can give you a shout out on the show. I'd like to greet our early birds, Jen MP. Good afternoon po, Sir Darwin. Lazi also greets us. Mary Caballero is from 3J Plastic World and Manufacturing Corporation, Valenzuela City. Angel Rivera shouts out to you, Coach Darwin. Prince Dawson Sachi also greets you, Coach Darwin. Hello. Good PM. Hi to our great coaches. God bless is from Miss Mary Caballero. Thank you so much for leaving a note. We hope to keep you engaged watching our show, and please tag your friends. Vernalie Lapitan is from Cebu City, and Lassie is from Cagayan de Oro. Kate Lyle Villanueva Velasco is watching from Santo Tomas, Batangas. So nakikita natin parang all over the Philippines talaga.
From
Dapat
Luzon,
parang
Visayas,
Visayas,
Mindanao.
Mindanao, eh, minsan pa abroad pa.
Agree.
Right?
Now, Mentor Tina, of course, unfortunately, we don't have our other HR Cafe service. Of course, we have mentors Ronald Ferentino and mentors Alan Cañete, who's currently out right now, but they promise to join us at the next
Mm.
episode. Now,
Okay.
let's start our program. For all of you guys who just watch or have just tuned in to the HR Cafe, here at our program, we provide timely news and updates. We also impart knowledge and experience that are value adding and beneficial to our audience. We discuss problems, issues, and challenges and provide answers and resolutions with the help of our guest speakers on all of the HR topics and even sometimes non-HR topics that you guys would send to us or topics that we will be having for the week. We also provide free weekly training. Ito yung inaabangan ng mga tao kasi at the second part of our program, our guest speakers provide weekly training and this is coming from experts and
Mm.
seasoned guest resource.
Mm.
Also, if there are new technologies, tools and processes, as well as industry's best practice, pinag-uusapan po namin yan dito sa HR Cafe. At the end of the day, we would like to bridge understanding between employers and employees and provide inspiration and motivation. So tara na mga kapatid, mga kapamilya, mga kaibigan, simulan na po natin ang episode 128 here at the HR Cafe. Now, we start our program with the wow quote for the week. And this particular wow quote for the week is coming from someone who's very popular among the young generations. This is coming from Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian, as you know, is a popular model, but she's also a multi-millionaire entrepreneur and
Mm.
businesswoman.
Mm.
According to Kim Kardashian, my career is based on openness and honesty. Let's repeat that. According to Kim Kardashian, my career or her career is based on openness and honesty. How does this particular quote resonates to you? Papaano itong quote na to? Papaano kayo nakaka-relate sa quote na to? Ito ba is something that you agree, disagree, or anything that you would like to share with regards to this particular quote? Please share it to us at the comment section and we'll be happy to share it to our community. Mentor Tina, Kim Kardashian, based on the wow quote for the week, what's your take on this?
'Di ba 'pag kunyari pumupunta tayo sa restaurant or bumibili tayo ng gamit, branding is very important. For
Correct.
us, we always want to buy or go to a business establishment that has the same values as us. I think what
Agree.
many workers or employees forget is that career is a long-term event. Kasi if we look at the definition of career, career, according to Merriam-Webster, is an occupation, so a type of work undertaken for a significant period of a person's life with opportunities to progress. So it is over a long period of time, over your working life. Many people kasi treat jobs as a one-time thing. So, kunyari, I'll try to get as much money as I can doing the least amount of work in this job and then jump for another one kasi na-pirate as na-offer ng mas malaki. The problem with managing your career is that if you're too short-term, you might sabotage your long-term career for immediate gains. Kaya sinasabi nila, di ba, may mga talks tayo na how to manage your career. It's not yung how to get the most out of your career, but how to manage your career because you always have to look at your career as a very long-term thing in your whole life. And if you're able to manage it quite well, no matter how small your salary might be in the beginning, you might see that when you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and beyond, your salary goes higher and higher because people are no longer paying you just for your technical skills, but rather for the trust, for the goodwill, and for the branding that you promised that company. Kasi for example, I will give an example. A person who's very popular in your group, June Mendoza. June has shared with us his career. And we've noticed na yung first salary niya masyadong mababa. Pero pagdating niya sa mid-level to senior range, ang taas na binibigay sa kanya. Not just because of the work that he does today on a daily basis, but the work that, yung impression ng tao na a person with honesty and integrity. If June works for this company, the department is run very well. The company is a good company because somebody like him will only work for a good and fair company. And sobrang laking premium ang binibigay sa taong naggagawa ng ganong klaseng branding halo effect. So for us, I strongly suggest, lalo na sa mga taong nagsisimula pa lang as in HR, always start and lead your career with the knowledge that people will always double check your past experiences. Your reputation will matter. Kasi lalong-lalo na sa HR industry, it's actually quite a very small industry. Word of mouth is still quite mabigat. I've seen people who have easily gotten jobs because they were referred to by a fellow HR. Likewise, I've also seen HRs who dapat okay qualified tong tao na to eh. But may problema, 'di ba? But parang hindi masyadong trustworthy, but may nakaaway before, but hindi maganda yung pagkaalis niya with the previous employer. And these things have an impact to the future career that you're going to have. Nakakatakot sa HR if you were a sales staff in a big retail organization, kahit na may magsama kang nagawa, okay lang kasi may mahahanap ka pang ibang company na pwede mong budulan. Pero in HR kasi, pag ikaw meron kang bad experiences, may narinig, there's actually a network. And pag ang reputation mo is sira, malaking impact talaga yan sa career mo. So best to manage it with this in mind. How about you, Coach Darwin? Because you're an example of a person who's managed your career quite well. Any advice?
My advice for up and coming Gen Y, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha who will be pursuing a career in HR, of course, follow the virtues, the core values of HR. That's very important. That's already a given. But also, you need to see yourself not as a somehow as a product
Mm,
where you need to brand yourself not only to
mm,
your own employers but also to the industry. And
mm,
what I'm trying to say is, kasi sinabi nga ni Kim Kardashian, di ba? Her career is based on openness and honesty. So what you need to do is basically you have to go back to your why. Why are you pursuing a career in HR? What do you want to achieve in your career in HR in terms of the level, position, salary, or the number of lives that you've actually will affect,
mm,
'di ba? Um, and in the same way, m- isa sa mga struggles ng HR, ito napapansin ko lagi
mm,
is pag nag-a-apply sila ng work, pag tinanong,
mm.
what's your salary expectations? Pag tayo yung nagtatanong sa tao, ang bilis-bilis nating magtanong, oh, so what's your salary expectations? 'Di ba? Nagko-compute na tayo ng salary expectation doon sa taong i-hire natin. Pero pag tayo
Mm,
yung nag-a-apply at
mm,
tinanong tayo ng what's your salary expectations, ang dami nating pasikot-sikot, ang dami nating sinasabi, ang daming blockages. And one thing that
mm,
I would share is always be in a position where you never shortchange who you are. You
mm,
don't sell yourself short. You
mm,
always make sure that you're in a position of power where you highlight your strength and be open also and honest to what are the things that you can do to the organization or is still willing to learn to grow with the organization. I think that's very important. And believe me, if you are able to be honest with yourself, open with and you have openness in terms of what you really want in life, what you really want in your career, your product, you as a product, as a brand, and you're expounding it outside your organization and making sure that you add value not only to your own company but also to the industry, it will boomerang 100-fold, 1,000-fold, and you will wake up one morning that you are already earning a lot of you've already reached your financial goals, you've already reached your career goals, and not only that, but you're already inspiring people and leaving a legacy for other people to follow. That's my take on it. Actually, meron dito nagsabi, Mentor Tina, for, hindi ko alam kung him or her to, pero ang sabi niya ay, saan na yun? We are relational. How,
Mm.
what's, HR is relational now.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
she's
That's from
very,
Verna Lee Villanueva Velasco.
because
Verna Lee
nakikita.
Lapitan. Lapitan, yeah. Verna Lee Lapitan.
Relational, because basically HR nga eh, di ba? We
Hmm.
always deal with humans. We always deal with the human factor. So that's
Hmm.
the I 100% agree. So
Hmm.
let's
I want
mukhang
to
wala
also
namang
greet. See, Miss
oo.
Vanessa Lacson is watching from Pampanga. Genesis Indino is watching from Lipa, Batangas. Verna Lee tagged her friends Princess Kylie, Lilianan Faculna, Arlene De Los Santos. We also have a few other readers. Cielo Light says, good afternoon, coaches, watching from Mandaluyong. Rochelle De Los Trisco is watching from Mandaue, Cebu. Ernie Agliam Manuel is watching from Claveria, Cagayan Valley. Nomagid Inskal is watching from Zamboanga City. Dudes Casabar is Melody first watching from Ilocos. Zayja Pasagui is watching from Batangas. Elizabeth Tacos is watching from QC. And Faith Bautista is greeting Mitch Daryll Tacus, who is watching from Ilocos Norte. Zyril Ansales Sabinay watching from Balambam, Cebu. Chris Cinco is watching naman from Rojas Boulevard. Chilana Ward is watching from May Kawayan, Bulacan. Pwede na tayo
Wow,
magmapa.
talagang napakaraming nanonood ngayon. Daryl, napakaraming audience mo today.
Single pa
Actually,
yata si Daryl.
I'm seeing almost 70 people
Yan.
watching us live. And of course, kung meron tayong 70 to 100 people na nanonood ngayon, I'm sure
Hmm.
hundreds more sa Team Replay, because all
Hmm.
of the episodes of the HR Cafe
Hmm.
are actually recorded in YouTube and also in our
Hmm.
Facebook page, which is HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay Iba Pa. So let's
Hmm.
go ahead with our program. Now, HR question for the week. Nako, ito, pinost to kanina. Nagsabi yung isang HR, Sir, we just promoted an employee. But it's been 3 months already and she is not performing at the level that we want. Can we demote her? So,
Hmm.
kaka-promote nyo pa lang, gusto niyo na siyang i-demote. So,
Galing, no?
what's your take on this, Tartina?
I'm not a big fan of promotions without action. And I've seen so many businesses and owners who's given raises and promotions in a position that is brand new. 'Di ba? For me, sa akin lang, all bonuses and salary increases is based on past performance, never future performance. So if I wanted to promote somebody for a specific position, I don't formally give that person a promotion officially before they start on that position. I'll actually talk to that person, sit down, and then tell them, do you want to try this new job? If you can, I will slowly immerse you into this position. And then you can prove to me that you can do it. If you can, saka kita ipropromote and saka kita dadagdagan ng bayad. Some people will not take it. Kasi sabihin nila, why should I do a different type of work, or parang mas mahirap yung trabaho, mas maraming responsibility, pero pareho pa rin yung sahod. Other people naman will jump at the chance because they want to show you what they can do. For me, promotion is not just parang inabot mo lang. Dapat it has to go to the right person. That's the reason why when I give a promotion, I make sure muna that they can fulfill the job before I officially give them the title and the salary increase. Because I'm also looking for the character. Kasi when you promote somebody to a managerial position, hindi pwedeng masyado ring mabilang. Yung tipong, I'm gonna do this if you pay me this. Because, lalo na pag managerial, there's a lot of work that will be done that's not paid. Lalo na pag holiday, minsan kasi nagpa-promote ka, hindi alam ng tao, pag naging manager pala, wala nang OT pay, wala nang holiday pay, wala nang maraming pay. So you need to make sure that the person understands what the responsibility means. Even if you don't give it to them of it. At kung ayaw nila, for example, sir, if you're not gonna pay me more, I'll just stay in my position. Perfect. You probably saved yourself the trouble of what the HR questioner of the week has, which is you gave the promotion too early, masyado kang atat, 'di ba? And ang problema ngayon na atat ka, mali pala yung tao na binigyan mo, mahirap mo nang bawiin. Legally, anything that you have documented. So for example, nag-promise ka ng salary increase and binigay mo na sa kanya, hindi mo pwedeng bawiin. Pag binawi mo yon, you might be a victim. You might be later on parang subject to complaint of constructive dismissal. Binigyan mo ako ng malaking sahod tapos binawas mo sa akin kasi whatever etching, ganun. Magkakaroon kayo ng dole complaint. So whatever, if you promise a person, tinaasan mo na yung sweldo for the promise of better responsibility, don't take the money back or the benefits back just because you made a mistake in giving that person a promotion. That's rule number 1 legally. Rule number 2, daanin mo sa performance evaluation. Doon sa thread kasi ang dami nagsasabi, antayin mo yung PIP, which is the performance improvement metric. Don't wait for the PIP. If the person is not shaping up, bigyan mo na ng incident report, bigyan mo na ng notice to explain, bigyan mo na ng memo. If the person is promoted to a sales manager and ang sales manager has a higher quota and the person missed the quota, then give them documentation that they missed the quota. Yun lang naman. And then give them a chance to improve. Sabi mo, oh, di ba, no, I promoted you, I required you to get X, you didn't achieve X. This is just for me to document na pinag-usapan natin to and I need you to improve. If you do it the right way, the person does improve. Kasi alam naman niya, may kulang siya. For example, attendance issue. Doon pala, dinagdagan pala kita ng sahod kasi na-promote kita, tsaka ka pala na-relate. Kasi may taong ganun eh. Pag dinagdagan mo ng sahod, lalo na silang, I can take it easy na. So you just have to talk to them and say that this is what I need from you. This is what you need to do to be entitled to really deserve that promotion. Kausapin mo yung tao. And then tell them anong gusto mo sa kanila. And then when you document, 2, 3 times, as soon, basta every time may problema, documentation mo, kausapin mo yung tao para marami kang papel. Actually, the motion is legal with proper due process. Diba? You can actually demote a person. But don't touch the salary too much anymore. And I think the increased salary is a very good tuition fee for HRs and owners alike. Next time, stop offering money for people to work more. Let them work more first, then give them the money. Or offer it as a bonus that you can provide. So it's performance-based. How about you, Coach Darwin?
Well, yung sinasabi mo kasi Mentor Tina, I would agree that whenever, kasi ang challenge sa mga HR leaders ngayon is normally, ang nagpo-promote dyan, yung mga department heads, di ba? Yung mga managers na gusto mag-promote ng team lead, supervisors or whatnot. And normally, ang nangyayari, ang pinopromote nila, yung mga taong for example, sa sales, magaling siya sa sales, tapos gusto i-promote ng manager. Pero understand that hindi porket magaling yung tao sa sales, magiging magaling siya as a manager or as a supervisor. So what I would really suggest is that before any promotion happens, sinasabi ni Mentor Tina, bigyan niyo siya ng ad hoc role or ad hoc responsibilities where, for example, you have someone, a high potential employee who you feel that would be a good fit for a supervisorial position. Now, have the person undergo an ad hoc role for, let's say, 3 months, 3 to 6 months. And doon sa 3 to 6 months na yan, pwedeng meron siyang additional responsibilities. Tapos sa additional responsibilities, you have an opportunity to either bigyan mo siya ng allowance. Diba? Allowance because you give the person additional responsibilities. Pero hindi siya papasok sa base kasi ang mangyayari niyan, ang lalabas is yung allowance na to ay dahil nagtatake siya ng additional responsibilities sa ad hoc role niya. Then, within 3 to 6 months, have a toll gate session. na-meet ba ng tao yung expectations mo dun sa
Mm.
role na dapat ginagampanan na niya or dapat promote siya. If yes, then promote the person. If no, then talk to the person, provide coaching, and then have the person go back to whatever whatever he was before. At pwede mo na alisin yung ad hoc allowance kasi technically hindi naman siya permanent allowance or permanent, hindi mo naman siya sinama sa base pay. Now dun sa question ng ating poster sa Philippines Asia Group, two things. And actually marami, three things pala. Bakit ka nag-promote tapos i-demote mo rin? Alam mo
Mm.
ba na hindi ito magiging masama doon sa tao, kundi magiging masamang tignan doon sa mga nag-promote. Kasi
Mm.
basically, you promoted someone who hindi mo naman pala pinag-isipan or hindi mo naman pala pinrepare to be successful for the role. Right? Now, you're already in the situation. Ang tanong, 3 months down, nasa role na yung tao in 3 months and not performing.
Mm.
Then what you can do, sabi nga ni Mentor Tina, make sure that you put it under documentation, put it into PIP, di ba? And within the PIP period, if the person is not improving during the performance improvement plan, let's say 3 to 6 months, hindi siya nag-improve, right? Then you can demote the person. And
Mm.
because demotion is actually part of management prerogative.
Right.
Now, yung
Mm.
sinasabi ni Mentor Tina na hindi nyo na pwedeng bawiin yung binigay yung benefits at sweldo doon sa na-promote nyo
Mm.
na kasi de-demote nyo. Ang reason kasi noon is pag inalis, halimbawa, may na-promote na kayo, in-increasean nyo yung base pay, binigyan nyo siya ng additional benefits, tapos i-demote nyo, gusto nyo alisin, that's against the law because that's diminution of benefits. And diminution of benefits would lead you to a legal case. At pwede
Mm.
talaga kayong at lang yon, factual yon. Ang iaasa ng arbiter, magkano yung in-offer mo nung promote mo siya, at
Mm.
meron documentation na binawasan mo siya after mo siya dinemote, panalo na kagad yung employee. Right?
Mm.
So,
Mm.
make sure that when you are making business
Mm.
decisions with regards to promotion, make sure
Mm.
that the employee is ready, all of the development programs are already in
Mm.
place, and
Mm.
yeah, let him or her undergo a proby period for the role or an ad hoc period for the role. And then if
Mm.
the person qualifies and did well, then promote.
I'd
That's
like to
it.
reiterate lang ha, demotion is a penalty. Legally, it can be done so long as there is substantive case, meaning to say you've been able to prove with documentation that this person has not been performing grossly and
Correct.
habitually. It also
Mm-mm.
requires due process. You
Correct.
might the
Oo.
only thing lang we advise is not to baba is because the staff might file a dole case later on if you demote, lalo na if it was not done properly. So, it's a small amount of money na wala siyang masasabing constructive dismissal against you. Pero if done properly, you can demote, but not immediately. Okay? Kasi baka gusto
Mm-mm.
nila kasi ibigay, ibawi agad. No, you
Correct.
cannot. May proseso.
Okay, so
Next.
I hope that answers our HR question
Mm.
for the week. Now, let's go for updates. The Department of Labor and Employment issued the
Mm.
DOLE Labor Advisory number 4 series of 2023. Ito po ay pinagpapaalala sa lahat po ng kumpanya o HR ha. Kayo po ang punong abala dito. The Annual
Mm.
Establishment Report on Wages for Calendar Year 2020. Ibig sabihin po nito, pursuant to Article 124 of the Labor Code, as amended by Republic Act 6727, lahat po ng kumpanya ay kailangan mag-submit ng annual report on the verified itemized listings of their
Mm.
labor component,
Mm.
specifying yung mga names ng employees sila, yung rank, including also yung mga apprentice and workers with disabilities who are hired under the terms prescribed by the employment contract. So, sinasabit po itong report na to sa mga DOLE offices, or you can actually submit it online through the link provided. Just annual wage report .nwpc.dole.gov.ph. Make sure po na makapag-submit tayo ng annual establishment report kasi sa mga audits ng DOLE, pag pupuntahan kayo, i-audit kayo ng DOLE, titignan niya nakapagpasa ba kayo ng annual establishment report. Okay? So make sure that this is your company is being compliant. Next is again, naglabas din si DOLE ng Labor Advisory number 3 series sa 2023. This is what we call the gender equality in the workplace. This is in recognition of the role of women in nation building and the fundamental principle of equality of women and men. Now, madadownload nyo po ang lahat ng advisories, labor advisories, pag pumunta po kayo sa DOLE website or kaya sa social media ng Department of Labor and Employment. So ito po ay isang pagpapaalala sa mga HRs na kailangan updated po tayo lagi sa lahat ng uri ng labor advisories because yan po lagi ang ating titignan. Bukod po sa audit, yan po dapat yung maging basis natin tuwing gagawa tayo ng mga policies ng ating kumpanya. Okay? So, next would be update from the Philippine Social Security System or SSS. Meron pong idol seminar ang SSS. Ano po ba yung idol seminar? This is really more of knowing your responsibilities as an SSS employer member. Para po ito sa mga kumpanya. So basically, ang mag-a-attend nito ay yung mga company representative at mga HRs ng company. So be our partner in ensuring social security protection of our employees. Join the 2-day in-depth online, ito yung tatawag nilang IDOL, in-depth online seminar conducted by the Social Security System. Kung naghahanap po kayo ng libreng seminar for SSS, ito na po yun, yung IDOL seminar ng SSS. This IDOL seminar is intended to train and educate employers or company representatives, which is HR, on SSS and EC benefits, how to compute these benefits, the latest programs of SSS, online transactions, as well as the value of SSS membership. Ito po ay libre. So, para po makapag-register kayo, makikita nyo po yung QR code dito sa ating presentation. You can just scan the QR code or you can also go to the SSS website for more details. Next would be, meron na namang programa din ang ating SSS with regards to the Women's Month. Ito ang tinatawag nilang Eva, Ikaw ang Bida. Bilang pagkakaisa sa pagdiriwang ng Women's Month, magkakaroon po ng SSS Eskwela webinar. Ito po ay para po talakayin in detail ang RA 11210 o ang tinatawag na Expanded Maternity Leave Law. Alam niyo po, yung Expanded Maternity Leave Law, ano na siya, napakatagal na siya. I think 5 years na siya. Pero ang mga even HRs, napakarami pa rin ang hindi masyadong adept o hindi masyadong maalam kung ano ba ang saklaw ng Expanded Maternity Leave Law. Kaya, if you have time, please attend the Eva Ikaw ang Bida. Ito po ay sa March 31, 8:30 a.m. There's a QR code there. You can scan it or you can go to SSS website for more details. Okay. Also, pinapaalala ng SSS na you can learn more about SSS benefits on your own free space. So, kung meron po kayong mga, sa HR, kung meron po kayong mga new hires or mga OJTs, nako, kung ako sa inyo, mga HRs, kung meron kayong mga OJTs or mga freshies na bagong pasok sa HR at gusto niyo silang magkaroon ng additional knowledge with regards to compensation benefits, particularly in benefits of SSS, I would suggest that you have them go to the SSS portal, the SSS Express e-learning portal. Because dito po sa portal na to, ano po siya, self-learning. Pwede po silang matuto on their own about sickness benefits, maternity benefits, unemployment benefits, disability benefits, salary loan, pension loan program, retirement benefits, funeral benefits, death benefits, and annual confirmation of pensioners or ACOP program ng SSS. Importante po ito. At aminin natin, hindi lahat ng HR, yung mga special channels natin, ay talagang bihasa sa mga modules na ito. So if you are in HR, I would suggest on your free time, mapunta po kayo sa EXSSS e-learning portal. Andyan po yung QR code, scan nyo lang po, or you can also go to the SSS website for more details. Now, for PhilHealth, Ma'am Tina, Mentor Tina, what's the latest in PhilHealth?
Well, Philippine Digestive Health Week is from March 5 to 11. And actually, this is just to emphasize na there are three government agencies that you have to ensure na kasama yung empleyado ninyo. There's the SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. I'm sure a lot of owners balk at the chance na bakit ang dami kong binabayaran karagdagan sa base salary ng tao ko. Lalong-lalo na sa PhilHealth na naskandalo ng ilang taon ago. But the thing kasi is, if you do not enroll your employees for SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig systematically, you are, parang meron kang time bomb na pwede kang idole, pwede kang i-report sa SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. At pag nagkasakit, namatay ang mga tao mo, you are fully liable for all the expenses from diagnosis up until the time of recovery or death. It's really not worth it. For example, hindi ka nagbabayad ng PhilHealth, tapos nalaman mo pala na may colon cancer yung staff mo. Stage 1 low risk, the Z benefit for PhilHealth members is 150,000. Pag stage 2 to stage 3 ka na, 300,000 yun. Rectum cancer, if you do have it, what are the chances, diba? Pero pag meron, the savings that you will get is 150,000. Pag wala kang PhilHealth, for example, sigurado 1,000%. Yung tao mo at yung pamilya niya, pupunta sa office mo para magreklamo, pababayarin ka ng hospitalization bill nila. And you'll be like, why should I be liable? Hindi naman siya nagkaroon ng cancer sa opisina ko. Prove it. When that happens at nagmatigas ka, naku talaga, SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, pag talagang pwede kang makasuhan talaga. So I strongly suggest, it's a small amount lang po, 2% for employers, 2% for employees. Magbayad pa rin kayo ng SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig because it is really an insurance for your company na hindi ka rereklamuhin ng mga tao mo later on. Next. Inpatient, as you can see, the savings that you will get ranges between 6,000 to 12,000. Sabi mo, ay, magkano naman binabayaran ko sa PhilHealth versus sa 6,000 to 12,000? Ako na nga magbabayad niyan. O, di kung gusto mo, the go. Pero ito lang, these are the savings that they will deduct from the hospital bills. These are not the entire hospital bill that you will be liable if your employees are not SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig members, ha? Gets? Ibig sabihin, pag nagkasakit yung tao mo, ito yung amount na ibabawas sa billing nila sa ospital. Pero hindi ka na liable para bayaran yung hospital bill nila. They can harass you, they can pressure you, but you're not liable. Legally liable for it. Pero pag hindi ka nagbayad ng SSS tsaka PhilHealth, you are liable for the entire hospital bill and the medicine. So please, let us all be good citizens and enroll our staff to SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig today. Yung mga taong newbies, HR newbies, yung kumpanya namin, kasi kapos kami sa pera, hindi kami nagbabayad ng SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. Please be warned. If you are not in a company that pays benefits, do not work for that company. Kasi pag kayo ay nadisgrasya, kayo din hindi rin matutulungan ng kumpanyang yun. Next. El Puerto Marina Beach Resort and Vacation Club is one of our sponsors. If you guys are free and you do want to have events done, they are located in Pangasinan, Philippines, which is just a bus away from Metro Manila. Next po. Another of our sponsor is Lidia's Lechon. Members can avail of a 5% discount for a minimum purchase of 500 pesos. And then just show this actual post, screenshot this, show the actual post to the participating branches to avail of the discount. Next. Unicare is also a rewards partner of the Philippine HR Group. PHRG members can now get 10% discount for 70 restaurant partners. There is no service fee to be added, and the promo period is up until July 30, 2023. That means, next slide, you can get 10% discount by signing up simply at unicare.ph/phrg. You will receive an email confirmation from the Philippine HR Group Rewards. Just share your QR code to the employees, and then you can just show this QR code to any of the partner merchants to avail of the 10% discount. You can print this or save it on your phone and just show it to the restaurants to get a big discount. Next po. If there's any questions, please post it at the main page of the Philippine HR Group or join our Facebook page or LinkedIn group page of the Philippine HR Group. I'd also like to take this chance to greet Maricel Yana, who is watching from Binyan, Laguna, Blasica Kahilig, who's watching from Rizal, and then parang, who's say, may nagtanong dito if pwede bang i-promote ang supervisor na moody and unapproachable but is good in transactions and company process na 5 years na sa company. Ito lang sa akin, who mandates na salary promotions is not mandated by law. It is a management prerogative, meaning to say management decides whether they feel this person is promoted or not. So you have to ask your boss kung pwede ba tong i-promote or kailangan bang i-promote or gusto ba niyang i-promote. If ayaw niya, that person cannot demand any promotion. But if the person is promoted tapos ikaw yung nakasama niya, sabi mo, nako, moody siya, approachable siya, bakit siya na-promote ni boss? That's also because promotions are based on many things, which includes tenure, which includes like technical capabilities, which includes, it doesn't mean kasi that if you're a leader or a manager, you will be promoted. Some people are promoted because the boss don't want them to leave because they are capable in that particular task that they're done. So for example, when I used to work for a bank, people were promoted hindi by rank, pero by tenure. So you can be like an associate director, a director, a managing director, not because you were a high performer, but rather because you are a steady performer for that particular position and you've been in the company for a long period of time and the company wants to reward you with a higher pay and a higher rank. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if you're promoted, you have people under you. Promotions are given based on company, different system for different companies eh. Pero I've met people na sobrang wala lang, pero ang taas na ng position nila. And they've been doing exactly the same thing for many years. And you wonder like, bakit ka naman na-promote? Mas magaling yung iba. Because promotion is based talaga on the company's discretion. How about you, Coach Darwin?
Agree on with regards to company's discretion with regards to promotion. Kaya nga again, babalik tayo dito sa sa palagi natin sinasabi. Make sure that if you are promoting someone, that person is not only skill fit but also would represent the best side of your organization. Kasi sinasabi niya, masungit daw, ganyan-ganyan. Well, ano yan very anecdotal. Pag sinabi natin masungit, pag sinabi natin, di ba? Very anecdotal yun eh. At yung mga bagay na yun, pwede yung i-coach, pwede yung ma-change and whatnot. But reminders to all HR and to all hiring leaders, yun nga, whenever you're promoting someone, make sure that the promotion would be an opportunity to not only reward the person of his or her contribution to the organization, but also make sure that you're building the person to be successful. Baka naman ipopromote mo yung isang tao pero hindi mo naman siya binigyan ng X number of team members o baka naman walang tools na available. Like, di ba? Or kaya ayaw mo mabago yung system, meron naman palang mas magandang process or system na pwedeng gamitin pero you're still adamant in shifting to a different process. So again, always remember ito lang the people under you reflects who you are as a leader. Kina lang yun. Okay. So
all right. We are
Let,
now at the best part of our show, di ba, Bis? So
oo,
I'd like
more,
to introduce our
ay,
special guest. Ay, naku,
meron pa,
ikaw
ano
yan,
lang,
Coach Darwin.
oo. Ano po, so last week po, nakagraduate na yung CHRP Batch 10 for
Mm.
Manila. We
Mm.
have, if I'm not mistaken, around 14 HR leaders who are now undergoing their certification program to be certified CHRP. At yung next batch po, yung batch 11 for Manila,
Mm.
will be
Mm.
happening on April 15. 3 days po yan, 3 Saturdays, half days, April 15, 22, and 29. So if you would like to be part of this batch, nasa pin post po ng PHRG yung sign up form for the CHRP. Yung
Mm.
CHRP po ay para po sa mga matagal na at least 3 years in HR na supervisory level na pataas or managers na walang HR experience pero nasa HR na and would like to have certifications. This is a global certification and we're partnered with IFPM and we're offering this. We've been offering this since 2017 and we've had 10 batches already in Manila. We have batches in Cebu, Iloilo, and Davao, and Cebu. So for Manila, again, CHRP Batch 11 will start on April 15. Now, pupunta din po kami sa Cebu. That will be April 29, 30. I-announce po namin yan. For those who are in Cebu and the South area, will be there on 29, 30. 2 days po, Saturday, Sunday, for the CHRP certification program. Now, para naman po sa mga newbies up to supervisorial level na gusto talagang magkaroon ng intensive training in HR, we are offering the Philippines HR Group Core Training Program. These are the core competencies that an HR should have to be successful in the HR field. This will happen on April 15, 16, Saturday, Sundays, and this would be in Ortigas. Yung sign-up form po ng HR Core Training Program ay nasa pin post din po ng Philippines HR Group. So, we're inviting everyone to attend the different PHRG programs. Now, dun po naman po sa mga nagtatanong ng mga free seminars ng PHRG, bukod po sa HR Cafe na every Sunday, our volunteers are already launching the upscale HR and inspire HR by April. So abangan nyo din po yun. Those are all free public seminars pero ito pong mga pinapakita namin sa inyo ay ang mga paid seminars under PHRG. Okay? Now, also, I would like to show to you yung ating roster for March ng HR Cafe program. Ngayon, we have Mitch Daryll Tacus. Last week, we have Ryan So, who's a Singaporean. Next week, we'll have Miss Joji Silva. And after that, we'll have Mr. TJ Pestaño. So, for our discussion for today, for the free learning program for today, we will have Mr. Mitch Daryll Tacus. And I will give the floor to Mentor Tida to properly introduce our speaker for today.
All right, Mitch Daryll Tacus is an HR supervisor from our favorite place to buy hardware stuff at CW Home Depot and has been serving the retail industry for 5 years. His role is a generalist, but is currently taking up the Master of Science in Industrial Relations Management at De La Salle University. He graduated from the University of Santo Tomas with a bachelor's degree in Human Resource Development Management. He is also a proud delegate at the HR, at yung sa natin, diba? In People Matters HR Tech Conference last year, date in Singapore. Let's welcome Mitch. We have a lot of people watching the show, Mitch. Sobra silang excited dun sa No
Hi,
pressure,
Mitch.
ha?
Hi.
No pressure, Mitch. You have 80 plus people watching you live right now. And I'm sure hundreds more will be watching the replay program. Alam niyo po, dito sa HR Cafe, we are giving opportunities to up-and-coming HR leaders. Yan po yung aming talaga, yun ang aming mission to introduce to the community and give chance to up and coming HR leaders to be known in the community. And of course, we have Mitch Daryll Tacus for today.
All
Mitch,
right,
ano nga ba
newcomer.
topic mo?
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, thank you so much, Coach Darwin and Mentor Tito, for having me here this afternoon. Actually, my topic for this afternoon is really close to my heart at very first because for one, siguro coming from my generation nga, it's Generation Z. So, as we go or enter the workforce, lalo na ako as an HR, there's a lot of questions coming in or what should I expect when I enter the field of HR. Although iba naman kasi when you graduated from college, then you enter the workforce, it's a different thing. Number one, there's this internship that you have in your college although you have this extensive experience on the particular role that you have during your internship, iba pa rin when you applied for a job, when you get accepted for a job. And I think yung hindi mo nakita during the internship because hindi ka naman bibigyan ng very particular or intensive task as an HR. And you'll be there for a short period of time. This time, when you enter the industry, ayan, for me, I've been with the company for 5 years already. And as I move along during my role as an HR, marami akong natutunan in terms of my experience. And siguro this topic, it's more on giving guidance to those who want to be an HR, a newbie, or those who plans to shift career to HR. So,
And not only
ayan.
that,
So,
Mitch, not only that, it will also give opportunities for employers and HR leaders to really understand ano ba yung mga challenges na kinakaharap ng Gen Z ngayon when they start their career in HR. Para at least, di ba, if there are things that they can help change in their own companies to help grow the career of these newbie HRs, then they'll be able to do so. So we'll give you the floor now, Mitch.
We'll be in the background. Anyone who has questions for Mitch, please put them on the chat box. We will read them after he presents. So we'll give the floor to Sir Mitch. Go.
thank you, Coach Dar and Mentor Tina. So, my topic this afternoon is basically it's sort of a checklist on what HR newbies should know. So let's start. For today, why did I choose this topic? I think I already discussed earlier the importance of knowing of these things on the checklist of HR, and I'll be presenting to you the key checklist that I have. I think this is more on my experience as an HR, lalo na nag-umpisa ako from the bottom, of course. I entered with a new department, and of course, I would like to also discuss yung expectations because this is the missing part of a new HR or someone who is new with the company. If you set your expectation too high, then you did not met. Ayun. Let's hang into that. We will discuss it later. And lastly, for the Q&A, let's have it like a kwentong ensaymada, meaning let's have it a light conversations that we have. So if you're watching right now, please leave a comment, or if you have the questions, you can drop it on your comment box and we'll answer it one by one. Okay. So first of all, why this topic? Again, this is coming from an experience of an HR. So I entered the industry 2017. So I've been serving retail company as an HR for 5 years already. And siguro I'd like to share yung struggles or yung challenges that I encountered when I entered the industry. It's very close to my heart because there are some instances na maraming tayong na-encounter na bagay when we start working na hindi natin alam how we're going to how we're going to go about this particular role as an HR. And also, as an HR, it entails a bigger responsibility. HR is more on managing people. You want to keep your people afloat with your company as well as you want to serve the company to the best interest, not just for yourself, but also to the people. So me as a coming from a Generation Z, ayan, I think this is ideal for those na ayan, on my generation and also siguro those already in the industry, yung mga matagal na. Siguro it's one sort of a reflection on did these things hit you when we go along this topic. Um, so this is what I want to reiterate for this session, the importance of knowing. Um, if you really want to pursue a career in HR, you really need to know, you need a strong foundation. The university or the college studies will give you the theoretical. But when you enter the real world, there's some sort of instances that it would invalidate what are the things that you learn because um, the world is ever changing. And with this ever changing world, kailangan nating malaman ano ba yung mga bagay na kailangan kong matutunan or makita bilang isang baguhang HR sa industry. And siguro, for me, nung time na pumasok ako, I started as a timekeeper in HR. And ako, when I had my internship, I was able to expose to different facets of HR. But unfortunately, as a timekeeper or processing payroll, it's one of the least exposure that I had in during my internship. So when I entered the industry and they assigned me to be part of the timekeeping and payroll team, ako yung type ng person na magugulat ako, what should I do? Or since in HR, laging, okay, recruitment is given, you have the sourcing, you have the training, ayan, it's more the common facet of HR. Pero nung pumasok ako, timekeeping, paano ang proseso? How should what is the expected output or what is the company's expectation to me as an HR in terms of a timekeeper or payroll processor? So with that, I'd like to share you the checklist. Ayan. Before I start, I think since I'm already on my generalist role, number one, I've been with the company, having some sort of orientation for new HR in our field. So ako, as an immediate superior, when new HR comes in, I try to guide them on the best that I could be. And syempre, I need to introduce what are the things that they should know. And since I already did that to my company, I think it's time to share it with you. For one, I make it more general type of the presentation so that everyone could grasp on it. And syempre, everyone could relate on my topic. So here are the checklists for what HR newbie should know. Number one, you should familiarize yourself with the culture. Syempre, the company has different org structure. So there's a different culture. Ako coming from retail industry is a fast-paced industry. So there are a lot of changes that happens every time. And also, you need to know what is the direction of the company. You should know the personality of the company itself. So by culture means ano yung organization's values nila, ano yung expectation, beliefs, and practices. If you want to integrate yourself with the company and if you want to be in, kumbaga, you need to get to know. It's more like knowing someone na, syempre, if you want to be friends with someone, you get to know what are the things that are common to you. And of course, kailangan mong makijive on what they have for you to get along with them. And knowing the culture of the company will help you to get to know the glimpse, kumbaga, para malaman mo if how you yourself will be able to go along on your journey as an HR. So that's the first point. Familiarize yourself with the culture. Next is, beyond your job description, you need to discover the purpose and value of the role that you'll be taking. Ayun, for example, me, I started as a timekeeper and payroll processor. I know that the end goal of my role was, of course, magpasahod ng tao. But what value does it give to others? Of course, what can you, kasi, yan, job description, it enumerates what are the things that you should do, ano yung mga deliverables, what are the end outputs that the company requires. But you need to know what is the specific purpose or ano yung value mo. Kasi from there, you will be able to know, uh, when when I finish the timekeeping and payroll on time, it will mapapasahod namin ng mas maaga yung mga tao or mapapasahod namin sila on time. And that particular aspect, of course, will serve you the purpose na, syempre, number one, pag sahod yan, it's most the people would wait lagi. So, another thing, in terms of recruitment, since I'm already in a generalist role and I handle recruitment, the value of replacing people on time. Because number one, it's very hard for someone who already left in the organization, but you weren't able to serve a replacement on the given lead time. So, of course, number one, it will be a challenge for a particular department kapag hindi kompleto yung manpower. Second, if para any lapses, any concerns that might arise will go against you as an HR. And what can you do about it? You need to know what are the things that I should do to make things better as an HR. So it might be different for the others kung ano yung facets ng HR that you are currently handling right now or you'll be entering later on when as you enter the industry. Having or knowing the purpose of the role that you'll be taking later soon will help you succeed in your career as an HR. The next is you need to understand the company rules and regulations and management prerogatives. Ayan, on day one, laging sinasabi na ino-orient si employee na this is the rules, this is what the policies that we have here in the company. So there's a small caption there that be ahead knowing these things. HR, in terms of all the policies that the company implements, we should be ahead sa pagkakaalam or we should be know it from the heart. Because number one, HR, yan yung magiging takbuhan ng employee when it comes to doubts in terms of the implementation or if there are any concerns on the company rules and regulations, as well as yung management prerogative. It has been discussed earlier by Coach Darwin and Mentor Tina. Management prerogatives is the inherent right of the employer to make business decisions for the company. So that's one of the things that we should know as an HR because maraming instances that we try to challenge the company rules and regulations or management prerogatives. But before we try to challenge it, we should try to get the wisdom behind those management prerogatives. And another thing, for those who will try to career shift or magiging career shifter sa HR, this is my thought about management prerogative. Never ever compare the management prerogative of company A as to the management prerogative of company B. Because number one, there's a different business condition or the conditions of how this company A or company B operates. Yun kasi yung isa sa mga na-encounter ko when I had some issues or concerns na na-encounter ko as an HR. So we cannot compare the management prerogative of different companies because this is how they want the business run in terms of implementing rules and regulations for the employees. And if you came from a company na sobrang if not too like strict na management prerogative, then that's good for you. If you came from a company na sobrang strict ang management prerogative, you try to don't be too reactive on those particular policies that they have. It's better, particularly as HR, to understand why these things are implemented in the company. Ako, I encountered a lot of policies that we have in the company. You try to, of course, when these things are already laid down to us, issue to the employees, hindi mawawala yung instances na um, there's this always a question in our mind asking, why is it we have this kind of policy, and would it be effective to the employees, or it will just give us an headache? Before we come up into that, allow the policies to roll out. Hayaan natin na ma-implement tong policy and look it in the long run. Kasi when we try to react it right away, hindi it will help you as an HR. You try to observe, you try to think in the long run how this management prerogative or policies effective. And ayon, going back, kailangan din as an HR na hindi lang yung basa lang. Because when employees try to raise their concern or challenge the company rules and regulations, HR ang unang magpapaliwanag kung bakit. And if you don't aware, or if you're not aware on those policies that the company implements, of course, mahihirapan kang maipaliwanag sa tao. At the same time, the employee might get an impression na whatever his or her or the employee's interpretation, yun ang matatatak sa isip niya. Our role as an HR on this kind of matter is we try to impart to these employees ito yung context ng particular policy, ng particular management prerogative that we have. And hindi natin, whether the employees will accept it or not, basta na ipaliwanag natin na malinaw and in the simplest terms that we could be, that's good already for an HR to have that. So there, as an HR newbie, we should be ahead, knowing and understanding the company rules and regulation or the management prerogatives. And next, ayan. Actually, ito yung medyo challenge for everyone here as an HR newbie. We have this labor laws that we have set in place in, of course, in our country. Actually, I read a lot of posts from Philippine HR group that concerning about the salaries, ganyan, or some sort of the benefits that we have. So, ayan, as discussed earlier, we have, as presented earlier by our coach and mentor, ayan, there's this PhilHealth and SSS, ayan. And aside from that, that's more on the labor standard. So, siguro these labor laws will also give us a good background or a good foundation when we enter the HR field. Ayan, for me, for example, I started as a timekeeper and payroll processor. So, of course, number one, in terms of labor standards, I need to know what is the computation of the overtime pay. I need to know the computation of the holiday pay and what is the rule when it in terms of na-late ka pero nag-overtime ka. Ayan. Knowledge in labor law, hindi mo kailangan magpaka-intensive na magbasa ng labor law. There's this book, ayan, in terms of the labor standards, there's this book from National Wages and Productivity Commission. I think they have a recently updated na rules on those conditions of employment in terms of salaries and benefits. So that is one of the basics of a HR newbie na kailangang malaman. Kasi, of course, we have these employees, of course, once in a while, ayan, ako coming from payroll again, na they'd ask about their salary, bakit ganito yung computation, and even when we implemented the mandatory provident fund of SSS, ayan, when it was the first time that it was rolled out, I think that's 2 years ago, nung pumasok sa payslip, there are a lot of people asking, ano tong MPF? Ganyan. What is this SSS MPF na deduct sa akin? And of course, as an HR, you need to know that these things are or the changes in terms of the contributions is also important na para of course we can explain it to the employees well, the updates in terms of the contributions that we have. Ayan, just and valid causes of termination. Ayan. There have been reading a lot of comments about this na if this employee or is validly terminated or not. But before you understand that, ayan, kung valid ba or not, of course, as an HR newbie, ito yung isa sa mga, for me, I would recommend na you need to know that we have these just and valid causes of termination. Because number one, when we confronted to employee discipline cases, and of course, it is subjected to termination, we try to seek understanding. Bakit? Is it valid that this employee was terminated? Is there a legality on behind that? And knowing the basics of just and valid causes of termination will help you answer those kind of issues. And lastly, labor relation is more on the union and CBA. So if your company is have a union or CBA, it will help you to understand the ins and outs in terms of labor relations. So that's again, if you want to enter HR, in this you should at least know the basics of the labor laws. Ayan. Ito medyo relatable din to sa akin. You should familiarize yourself with the HR business process. As a newbie, syempre, you need to papasok ka sa field ng HR, uupo ka sa table mo, and this, your immediate superior will ask you, oh, for your first task, you should do this. Ayan. So, of course, as an HR or newbie in the industry, ano ba dapat yung steps or what is the process or procedure that I need to know in order to get to that particular output? Ako, as a generalist, I expose in the recruitment, in timekeeping, in employee relations, and also performance management. So, for those particular facets, you need to know kung ano yung mga proseso. In terms of recruitment, paano ang proseso ng hiring natin dito sa company? Ilang beses, ano ba yung unang step? I-initial interview ko ba? Papa-examine ko ba agad yung tao? Or what? So you need to know ano yung step-by-step process in terms of that particular facet. And for timekeeping, for example, since we're already using HRIS, ano yung process para makapag-file ako ng leave, ng overtime? Paano ko malalaman kung approved na siya? And kailan ako mag-i-start na mag-check or mag-process ng BTR ng employees? So as simple as that, you will be able to familiarize kung ano yung mga bagay na kailangan mong gawin when this particular task or activity is thrown to you as an HR. Business process is somehow malawak kasi siya. But if you try to understand it on the most simplest way, parang it's more on mamamaster mo na yung proseso ng mga business, proseso ng activities na ginagawa mo. And aside from that is yung how HR connects with other department, because your transaction as an HR will not just end within your department. So you need to know how HR interconnects with, for example, if your payroll is in HR, how is it connected to accounting? Ano yung proseso para ma-record ni accounting yung payroll na nanggaling kay HR? Another thing is, of course, in terms of recruitment, what is your relationship or what is your process to endorse the candidate to the hiring manager? So, what is the particular activities to say that this candidate is already or is already good for endorsement ng hiring manager? Aside from that is in terms of performance appraisal, how do you do how do you conduct a performance appraisal? Uh, is the appraisal will be coming from the department head or galing ba siya sa HR muna? How the performance cycle starts. So um, knowing this process, your role or relationship with the other departments in the perspective of HR, of course, makikita mo na HR department is not just within your department, but also all the departments that you'll be having transaction with as you enter the industry. So aside from that, another thing, this is one of the things that I never forget, is to get to know who are the key persons when it comes to this particular process. Kasi syempre, if you want to endorse something, if you're be sending reports to other department, you need to know the key person that you need to be transacted with. And it's more on getting to know these people in the company, as well as how these people will help you in terms of accomplishment of your activities or tasks as an HR. So there, so as an HR newbie, kailangan mo malaman kung ano yung business process ng company nyo in and out of your department. Next is this one. Ayan, as coming from a newbie or syempre, we have a lot of tech tools that we use in college if you're using an LMS or learning management system. Ayan, as you enter the HR field, depending on the company or the size of the company that you'll be having with, we have some companies that we're already using HRIS. So there's an integrated system that is used by HR department already. Ayan. And of course, there are some small companies that go on the basic tech tools that they have. So actually, we just um, learning the tech tools that we have is of course challenging because number one, it is a stranger to me to use technology. But syempre, as coming from my generation, we have these characteristics na sobrang tech savvy, as I say. So I think learning HR tech tools, it would be easy for everyone since that we're already grown up in a generation that we already use technologies. At the same time, we try to kumbaga easily navigate the system at the same time makikita na natin um, what are the end tools or kung ano na yung mga kumbaga the output that are generated using these tech tools. So aside from HRIS, of course, since we'll never get away in terms of the office applications, ayan. So of course, if you're also familiar or you get to carry on the learnings that you have on using, of course, the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, ayan, that's a uh, good start for you to know about that you have these tech tools or knowledge that you have. Basically, this office applications is very widely used pa rin up to this era as a sort of number one correspondences that we need to do at the same time that when we are asked to do our reports then as an HR. So kailangan natin na hindi parang maging proficient tayo pa rin in terms of using this productivity or office tools, office applications that we have in the company. So again, as an HR newbie, you need to learn and master the HR tech tools that you'll be using. I think this is the last point of the top the checklist that I have. You try to keep yourself updated with the latest HR happenings and trends. So earlier, Coach Darwin and Mentor Tina already presented what are um, number one, the trainings that the Philippine HR group had, or the memorandums that issued by the government. And I think HR should always be in the know in terms of kung ano yung mga changes. Kasi recently, di ba, we have these changes in contribution. Um, just this year, di ba, may SSS, ayan, and there's this suspension of PhilHealth this year. And that is one of the things that we need to know then as an HR because it would be a convenient way for the employee to ask us. For example, tuloy ba yung yung height kasi nakita ko sa balita na magtataas ng ganitong porsyento yung PhilHealth. And of course, you as an HR, you need to be updated on this kind of happenings. Whether or not you're from payroll or any facet of HR, it's good to know that you try to uh, be in the know pa rin. Kasi for me, for example, in our case, um, kahit anong area mo sa HR, if the employee asks you, kailangan may bala ka lagi to answer. And one of the concerns of the employees, of course, yan, yung mga nangyayari outside the company in terms of the HR or labor issues that we have right now. Ayan. So, kailangan pa rin na natin. Kumbaga, we try to read the news or what are the updates that we have here. Ayan. In terms of trends, of course, if you want to build your knowledge in terms of your HR, then for example, right now that HR tech is emerging, you try to look for resources na it would help you to learn more about these trends that we have here in HR. And one of those is, of course, to attend the trainings that they have. Of course, may mga free webinars. You try to take advantage of that as a newbie HR because training is expensive, yes. Pero there's a lot of free trainings na sobrang quality in terms of getting to know or yung marami kang matututunan that would help you or aid you para maging successful ka sa field mo as an HR. So, ayan, the last point of the checklist again is to try to keep yourself updated with the latest HR happenings and trends. So ito na yung I think one of the parang reflection point for me that I would like to share this to everyone, lalo na sa mga bagong HR. When we try to set our expectations, because number one, if you want easy job, HR is not the right job for you. Kasi HR, it entails hard work and dedication talaga. And for me, as I served the company for 5 years already, ako as an HR, parang it really changed me a lot as a person on how to deal with things. At the same time, how I was able to relate myself with other people in the company. So, ito yung isa sa mga bagay na malaman. So that it wouldn't hurt you at the end of the day. Kasi marami kasing HR na, if I enter HR, madali lang yan because you just do recruitment, kuha lang ako ng tao. Pag na-process ko na yung payroll, okay na. Kapag nakuha ko na yung performance grade, nakita ko na yung output, okay na. But it's not that way. There's still a lot of concerns or issues that we will be going to face along the way as an HR. And one of those real talk that I would like to share is as you move along your HR journey, you will always encounter that things will not be always in favor with you. May mga pagkakataon that the employees, or number one, when it comes in terms of policy implementation. When we roll out this particular policy, ayan, you'll be witness, ayan, ikaw na baguhang HR na witness mo na may bago tayong policy in terms of attendance. Ayan, for example. And sa attendance, naghigpit. Of course, the employees ng na makakatanggap ng memorandum that will be circulated in the company will react. And ang unang pupuntahan nila to question or to challenge those policies is HR. I don't know if things would go this way, pero ako, when we encounter those kind of concerns, or parang they try to challenge your role as an HR, somehow, of course, magugulat ka. And this is what HR should expect, or mga newbies should expect, na you will be encountering a lot of employees na iba-iba yung personality. And if you try to carry on, for example, there's this strong personality na employee na lumapit sa'yo and sasabihan na, bakit ganito? Bakit, ano tong klaseng policy yung ini-implement nyo? Of course, sa baguhan, as a newbie HR, magugulat ka because you will, number one, if hindi mo nakilala yung person even once, at mukha siyang matagal na sa company, you'll get intimidated. Siguro, for me as an HR, you try to keep yourself yung composure, number one. And you try not to carry on with the emotion of the employee na nagko-complain. There's these instances na mukhang she's trying to be, or this person trying to be aggressive. Pero ikaw as an HR should know to set your limitations then in terms of giving them feedback. You try to be careful in terms of throwing out your emotions because whatever you say as an HR and hindi satisfied or napalala yung sitwasyon, it will go back against you. Another thing, meron ding mga concerns na si HR nag-initiate tapos wala pang hindi pa officially out, tinatanong ka na, kine-question ka na agad. So kailangan ikaw as an HR, you try to be focused in terms of ano ba dapat yung how should I give feedback to this particular employee? Kasi marami naman, there's a lot of way to control whatever the information that you have. Ayan. At the same time, kailangan mong maipakita that you're not shaken as an HR. Kasi once na makita nila na you're weak or parang kinakabahan ka answering their feedback, they'll just continue intimidating you. And it might be some sort of baka ma-demotivate ka in terms of this kind of people around you. Take note that in every company, merong mga bagay na mangyayari na hindi laging pabor para sa atin. So, and that links to my second point. Ayan, don't let yourself get do-over things. Do meaning don't let yourself get discouraged, and that don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Ako, when I entered as a generalist role, ayan, so since I'll be in i-handle ko lahat ng facets. Of course, especially for those newbies na papasok as a generalist role. Ayan. Ayan, kunyari ako as an immediate superior, ito yung mga checklist na kailangan mong gawin for timekeeping. Ito yung checklist na kailangan mong gawin for recruitment. Ito yung checklist na kailangan mong gawin for performance management. Ito yung checklist na kailangan mong gawin for employee relations. Si employee, ayan, si HR newbie, binagsakan ng ito yung mga kailangan gawin per area, nagulat or let's say na-overwhelmed kasi, oh no, ang dami kong palang kailangan gawin. So, what's my take on that? Ako, when I started na as a generalist, you try to set yourself organized in terms of the activities that you need to do on a daily basis, number one. And you try to set priorities on ito yung mga kailangan kong gawin for this day. May pa-urgent, ayan. Kasi, this is one of the realities of HR din na ikaw na you're on peace doing your regular activities, then your immediate superior or there's an order na ay sorry may kailangan tayong urgent na gawin. Ayan. So ayan, as an HR, that is one of the na rin, parang this is not like I'm trying to parang tinatakot ko kayo, but I want you to be ready then on this particular scenario because the HR function as a whole is not just yung regular na paperwork activities. There are a lot of tasks that we need to accomplish in terms of number one, we have reports. Number two, we have some instances that we need to talk to employees. Number three, ayan, for those in recruitment, aside from doing your recruitment report, you need to face all the employees. You need to assess the candidates. You need to get in touch with the hiring manager. So, while these things are a lot, these things means a lot of activities to do. You try to set yourself organized pa rin at the end of the day. Because if you know the dynamics of your work, if you know how to, kumbaga, breaking this particular task into chunks, ayan, how are you going to organize yourself as an HR? It will help you to succeed. And you'll understand it very soon na kapag nagawa ko to or na-set into priority to kung activities ko, I know I can finish it on time or on what is expected to me by the company. So ayan, don't let yourself get discouraged then. Because ayan, it connects to the first point. If you feel that HR role is a thankless job or underappreciated job, yeah, we feel mararamdaman natin siya. But you try to look on the bigger picture on how you as an HR or someone newbie in the industry can be a value or give value to the people in the organization as a whole. And this will lead me to the final point ng real talk, the rewarding part. So, ayan, job well done. So, not all days are bad days. There will always be a good days at the end of the day. So, marami tayong na-encounter na challenges, marami kang, ayan, masiset na yung expectation mo na, oh, there's a challenges that here on HR. Hindi ko na kaya as an HR or para I feel na HR job is not for me. There's this always rewarding part that the HR newbies should know that the employees and management, when they express your satisfaction on what you do as HR, yun yung pinaka-priceless reward that you can ever get. So of course, number one, you get good salary, ganyan. Pero iba pa rin if you receive a commendation from other people. And I think ito yung mga kailangan as an HR para mag-look forward nila in the future. Because for me, ayan, as an immediate superior, of course, guiding newbies in the industry is not an easy task. Ayan, coming from a perspective, kasi ako right now, ayun, from the shoes of a newbie to someone who is immediate superior. It's not easy to guide newbies in the industry. Lalo na, number one, I encounter uh, I encounter na hindi ganun ka intensive yung internship experience. Ayan. Kasi more on encoding, ganyan. Um, it's how are you going to put effort sa mga bagong HR because um, yung HR will be itong mga newbies na to, they will be the face of the HR in the future or they will be ito yung mga set of people that will become leaders in the future. And me as an immediate superior, as an HR ayan, supervisor, if you're really eager to let your uh, uh, this newbie succeed, you try to invest on your part in terms of time, um, guidance, kasi hindi natin masasabi that this person can catch up tasks quickly. Kasi there's this different learning style of people or this newbie. And we try to, kumbaga, tailor fit as an HR superior on how we can let these newbies bring out their potential uh, para ma-carry out nila yung task nila sa department effectively. And also, at the same time, ayan, di ba, we have this, if bago ka, of course, you're on probationary status, ganyan. So, your role as an immediate superior then will contribute on the performance of the employee. So, it's not just yung the regular trainings that the company have, but at the same time, it's how are you going to give guidance as simple as yung inquiries ng immediate ng newbie. Ayan, for the newbie, don't hesitate to ask question to your superiors. At the same time, if there's something bothers you in mind on doing tasks, ayan, there's this superior na laging mag-guide sa inyo. So if you feel na syempre we don't have the same type of superior that we have. Of course, we try to kumbaga on our own push ourselves syempre para makita natin what are the things that we really need to know. And aside from yon, syempre there's this moment na may self-learning na mangyayari. If you're into that particular learning style ng self-learning, then that's good for you. But of course, if you really need someone, wag there's this particular famous line na wag mahiyang magtanong kung ano ba kailangan gawin dito sa particular activities or ano yung mga kailangan kong gawin so that I can finish it or I can provide the expected output that is asked to me by the immediate superior. So with that, this is the last question that I'll be asking to the newbies or those who will be shifting their careers to HR. So are you ready to enter the world of HR? So with that, ayan, thank you so much for listening on my presentation. And I hope all the newbies here or those career shifters will help us or at least na-guide kayo on these things na para it's more on you already know what to do when you enter the field of HR. And syempre, hindi na siya yung like masya-shock kayo na, hala, kailangan palang gawin to or this and that. Ayan, hindi na siya sa inyo, kumbaga, it already impart you this foundation para makita nyo what an HR newbie or what an HR industry looks like pag pumasok na ako sa particular organization that I want to.
Mitch, let's keep this page so people will know how to contact you either on LinkedIn, email, or Facebook.
Mm.
Technically, ha? And
Yeah.
then we'll read some questions from the show, from ha? We have a question, sabi nga, napakaswerte daw ng mga bagong HR ngayon kasi dati daw wala daw HR cafe that offers free learning. There's another question that asked daw na, in our modern times, ano po yung strategies ninyo in recruitment from sourcing and hiring? Because as they observe, ang most asking question ng applicants is magkano ang sweldo? Hindi na po umuubra sa interview ng HR ang tell me about yourself. Gulay, no? Sige, go. Mitch, how do you recruit and interview?
Ayan, so actually it's just yesterday that I had an interview for some applicants.
Mm.
And yung how much, I think hindi na talaga siya mawawala for me. Kasi siguro kasi there's siguro some sort of real talk that they feel that they're entitled, or they kulang sa understanding in terms of that, for example, a particular industry that you're planning to apply, because
Mm.
each industry has its salary range. So
Correct.
if you want to
Mm.
apply for this particular industry, you try to at least research na ito yung
Mm.
pasahod ng this industry. And
Mm.
if I ask na how much is your expected salary, kasi ako naman,
Mm.
realistically speaking,
Oo.
meron talaga. There will be
Oo.
always applicants na, oh no, hindi pasok sa budget namin.
Oo,
Pwede.
tama naman. Tama naman.
Oh,
It's so different kasi
ayan.
diba you graduated from UST, 'di ba? Tapos
Mm-mm.
when they were offering, totoo talaga in our industry and retail, it's not as high as BPO, Coach Darwin. Talaga. So, it's a bit of a challenge na pag yung may mga applicants ka na nagtatanong magkano, tapos it's below their expectations. How do you handle that, Mitch?
Um, if it's below expectation, pag below
Their
naman,
expectation. Nahirapan
pag
ba kayong
below,
mag-recruit din, no?
we also have challenges in terms of recruitment din. Kasi,
Oo,
ayan,
'di ba?
it's the same industry. Kasi, di ba, retail, ito na talaga yung range eh. And
Yes.
kung defined talaga ang salary structure in terms of
Mm.
your company, you cannot
Mm.
go beyond unless there's changes in the
Correct.
structure that your company have. So, pag below naman, um, syempre, iisipin
Hindi,
ko,
ito na
very
lang din,
conservative
'di
naman.
ba? You are an HR in your company. You've been there for 5 years. What makes you stay in that company? Knowing that there are other industries that might be higher paid. Oh, 'di
Ayun.
ba? Real talk, real talk.
Real talk yan. Actually, I've
Tagal ng
been,
5 years, Sobrang tagal ng 5 years sa
ay,
industry
Yun
natin.
pala yung actually yun yung parang basically that how to stay longer in the company. Siguro
Oo. Ba't ka nag-stay? Kasi
ah
marami ka namang offers, I'm sure, sa iba, if you wanted to switch.
yeah, it happens na I already received some offers, ganyan. Pero
Mm.
what kept me stay in the company is of course yung challenges that the company gives to me.
Mm.
um, Ano pa rin andun pa rin yung trust nila to give me this particular task.
Mm.
Especially that, ayun, number one, I was able to engage in a project sa company. And of course,
Mm.
um, if they see the potential in you, the company will invest in you talaga. And that's one
Mm.
of the things that I appreciate din dun sa workplace that I have right now. And
Mm.
if may mga instances din na, for example, if you're not, kasi iba yung setup na napagdaanan ko in the company.
Mm.
And marami akong na-encounter that helped me grow as a person. Parang
Mm.
hindi hindi ako naging parang reactive na on my case
Mm.
na ay konting inconvenience lang. Kaya ayoko
Mm.
na mag-resign na ako, ganyan.
Mm.
As an HR, you need to try to understand pa rin what are the wisdom or what is the reason behind those things happening to you. And I think that's one of the reasons that kaya ako nagstay din ng matagal sa company. It's because I was able to understand that these things will happen. And
Mm.
it's not on my control na mangyayari itong mga
Mm. Mm.
And how are
I'd
you
like to I'd like to give a context lang sa mga viewers na nanonood because I'm also in the retail industry. So, for HR newbies, there's two types of path that you can start on. The first one kasi I've described, katulad kay Mitch, which is medyo generalist. When you come into a company, you're exposed to different facets of HR. So, starting from recruitment to recruitment, orientation, training,
Payroll.
payroll, ikaw lahat. Ikaw lahat. So, given exposure to such wide from end to end, ang dami mong challenges, ang dami mong kailangan matutunan. Kasi when you start on these roles, the expectation is, alam mo na medyo yung trabaho mo. They'll teach you their system, but you need to educate yourself on how to do these things. You learn on the job. In other words, in larger companies, when you start as an HR newbie, kunyari, if you're in a large BPO, training and development ka, you're just giving the interview test. You will parang score them. You
Administrator.
will administrative. So you're just limited to a particular task. Hindi ka exposed to payroll kasi that's finance and accounting who does that. You're not exposed to labor relations kasi there's maybe the TLs do that. So there's two type of path. Kay Mitch and for many retail HRs, ikaw lahat. So, ang nakakausap mong mga customers, yung mga staff mo, ang tatalino ng staff mo, sobra kang matcha-challenge kasi no matter na summa cum laude ka sa UST or napakagaling mo, minsan yung mga tanong ng mga staff mo, sobrang talino. Yung hindi mo naisip, paano nila naisip yon. Pero, like for example, solo parent. How do you define a solo parent? Paano kung yung staff mo, solo parent, may solo parent ID, pero may boyfriend na, tsaka ka-live-in, tas buntis. You know, like that sort of thing happens in retail all the time. And you need to have a proper explanation. Magre-research ka talaga kasi walang nakaturo. It's really from practical experience and it falls on the the gray gaps talaga of labor law. So with Mitch and with retail, nakakapagod siya, very challenging. The pay might not be as competitive as other industries. Pero talagang gagaling ka. Kasi kung hindi ka magaling, kakainin ka ng staff mo. So just a little bit of context. Coach Dar?
Yeah, Mitch, siguro dun sa question nung ating
Hmm.
viewer with regards to what are the strategies in recruitment from sourcing and hiring.
Hmm.
Ako, well, sabi mo nga, di ba, iba't ibang industries, there are different factors kung bakit iba't iba
Hmm.
yung ranges ng pasahod saka compensation benefits. Now,
Hmm.
I would really recommend na from the
Hmm.
onset pa lang, from the time that you're posting your
Hmm.
your employment requirements, nakalagay na doon yung range. Kasi it
Hmm.
would help you weave out those people who are looking for a different salary range. 'Di ba?
Hmm.
Kasi 'di
Hmm.
ba, ano yun naman natin I mean, would you for example, you have 50 candidates. And doon sa 50 candidates sa'yo, lahat pala 90% of them are expecting a 25,000 and above pay for an entry level. Ang kaya pala
Hmm.
ibigay ni company because you're in a different industry is
Right.
between 18 to
70
20
to 18. Yeah.
o 7 to
Hmm.
18, di ba? So na-weave out mo na kagad yung mga may expectations na hindi naman pasok sa sa requirements. So yeah, indicate your salary range at the onset pa lang dun sa pag-post nyo ng
Hmm.
job application. Pero i-highlight nyo yung mga pwedeng makuha ni employee na non-monetary. For example, yung
Hmm.
mga benefits. Kasi iba rin yung
Hmm.
binibigay na benefits. Yung sinasabi nga ni Mentor Tina, in other industries, specialized
Hmm.
ang HR. Meaning, pag TA ka lang. Yun lang ang
Hmm.
matututunan mo the whole rest of your life. Unless ka. Pero pag dito ka sa retail industry or sa construction or whatnot, kung pwedeng
Hmm.
generalist ka, and you will be exposed to different facets of HR. Kasi
Hmm.
hindi lahat naman ng aplikante, and I'm basically from experience, hindi lahat ng aplikante, pero ang tinitignan. Ang
Tama.
tinitignan lang pag entry level, I would really recommend those who are entry level, fresh graduates, or those with less than 5 years of experience, 3 years of experience, look into the opportunity of learning.
Hmm. Hmm.
Invest on invest on companies that will give you opportunities to learn more. Because after that, you'll be more marketable. Diba? So in terms of best practices, put your salary range. Second, put your non-monetary benefits and opportunities in the organization. And third, highlight the culture of your company. If the culture, kung sabihin natin, I've known companies in the namang employees 10 to 15 years na, sa BPO, milagro na kung magkaroon ng 5 to 10 years. So,
Pinagyayabangan tenure. Kung may
yeah,
tumatagal, ang dami
uh,
tumatagal, pinagyayabang yan. Marami sa amin 10 years talaga ang average.
i-highlight nyo yun. I-highlight nyo kasi it will give an impression, nga, no, bakit hindi umaalis yung mga empleyado nila kahit
Oo
mababa
nga.
yung sweldo, kahit ganun. Kasi it means that there is something in your culture that is valuable. Diba? So that's the point. That's I would
Sabi
like
ni
to
Goldrock,
add.
oo. Sabi ni Goldrock HR, sabi niya, 10 years daw siya sa retail. So, ang saya. Sorry, medyo sarcastic yan eh. Pero 10 years na rin siya sa construction where the pay is more. That's true. Actually, put it this way. If you are a very good generalist, a good HR, I think Mitch is investing in his future. Kasi whatever you pay you get today, I'm sure, Mitch, from the way that you did your presentation, you will be paid more tomorrow. So whether your current employer would pay for it now, it's a question mark, diba? But if they don't, later on, if they don't reward you accordingly, based on your performance, there will be a lot of opportunities talaga, diba? So yun yung hinahabol natin, yung career, hindi yung job. Diba? You're managing your career eh. So that's what I think when people listen to you, that's what they should look at. How do I manage my career? Learn as much as you can in your 20s so that you can piga your income on your 30s. Diba? That's better nga. Na yun is like
And
it's
demand
like
on your
ritual.
40s, no?
Oo,
And
yung
demand on your 40s.
tuition fee on 20s, matututo ka either on job or courses or in college. Pagdating mo ng 30s, when nagpakasal ka na, manganganak na yung asawa mo, you can demand more, not because you have more needs, but because you know more things. Di ba, Mitch? Ganun naman yung ano eh.
Yes.
Mitch, we have a question here. Sabi niya, what makes an HR stand out for the role? How did you get promoted? And did you do something big before you got promoted? This is from Miss Zyrel Ansale Sabinay.
Stand out. Ako, personally, medyo challenging yung question for me. Kasi, if you really want to stand out in your role as an HR, kasi na yun eh, in every company, meron talaga mga performing. Ako kasi, hindi ko rin naman ine-expect, for one, that I'll be given an opportunity for promotion in the company that I have right now. Kasi ako, it's more like, silent worker lang na, basta, ito, hindi ako like, I don't want to put the limelight on me, na, galing na. Basta ako, I want to give my deliverables as an HR. Ito, naibigay ko. Ang isa sa mga, siguro yung points that I want to give them is yung I want to give the highest quality of output na kailangan mong ipakita sa kanila. Because if you give that quality output, pag nakita nila na, this person has a potential in terms of taking up higher roles kasi he knows how to analyze, he knows how to present this particular or deliver these things. And dun yun yung sign, isa sa mga signs ng readiness that you can be promoted in the role. And another thing, in terms of yung process ng promotion ko, going back, I'm not a generalist role nung una. So I started from payroll and timekeeping. When I was asked to, when I was given the opportunity, syempre na-challenge ako na you'll be exposed to recruitment, payroll, dadagdag na yung mga areas ng HR na hawakan mo. And not just that, may mga staff na under me. And currently, I already have 10 staff na
wow! Okay.
And that's not an easy task for one. Kasi,
yes.
Kailangan mong, andun na yung monitoring, andun yung getting in touch with them. And andun na rin yung kasi yung trabaho ko na ako lang yung nag-iisip noon. Meron na akong iisiping
Ibang,
work ng mga staff ko kasi kailangan ko na rin tingnan isa-isa. Siguro
Mitch, i-highlight ko yung sinabi mo kanina na in everything that you do your best. I think ito yung dapat matutunan ng mga entry levels and newbies. Hindi pwede yung trabahong pwede na.
Tama.
Hindi pwede yung trabahong pwede na. Yung pag pinagawa kayo na ng work, pinagawa kayo ng report, for example, give me a report about attrition. Kinuha nyo lang yung data at pinasend nyo lang into a PowerPoint. Hindi pwedeng ganun lang yon. Dapat you are able to do what? You need to analyze, you need to make sure that you're able to provide insights, and you need to make sure that you're able to provide your valuable inputs on how you can move forward better in managing attrition. Yun nga, hindi pwedeng trabahong pwede na. Iwasan po natin yon kasi kung magsa-start tayo entry level na pwede na yan, tatanggapin na yan ni boss, okay na yan, that would not lead you to a career that would you really like to achieve in yourself.
You know what's funny for me is that many newbies treat their first jobs or their first few jobs as if they're still in school. Yung sinasabi nga ni Coach Darwin na pag napasa ka na sa deadline, at least pwede na nga. A big pet peeve for me is when I double check my staff's work and then I see that meron silang na-skip. There's a typo, the numbers are wrong, hindi nila na double check yung total, yung breakdown. That really makes me very angry kasi you're handling HR, you're handling somebody else's payroll, somebody else's contributions. So the type of, if meron kang mali, tapos nahuli ng empleyado mo ng mali, tapos tinawagan ka later, it's a big headache for me to explain paano nagkamali. And pag isang may mali, then mag-uusap yan. Lahat ng tao, double check nila payslip nila. Dadagdag yung tawag ng tao na nagrereklamo bakit may mali. If meron ngang mali. Just because somebody didn't do their job in the first place. In college, you can make mistakes. But when you're working and handling employees' information, those mistakes take a lot of you, sorry mama, next time hindi ko gagawin. Oo nga, pero sino bang naglilinis at nag-e-explain sa ibang tao na one-time mistake lang to? And sino ang iba-blame nila? Syempre yung boss, which is in your case, Mitch, you, diba? Ang hirap mag-explain pag ikaw ang may mali. Madaling mag-explain pag yung staff hindi nakaintindi. Sobrang hirap mag-explain if company nagkamali because mali of one, mali of all. Ano tingin mo, Mitch? Lalo yung mga customer, employees. Pag ang company may mali, sobrang hirap mag-apologize. And sobrang mahirap magbigay ng rason. Alam mo yun? Mitch?
Saka easily siyang kumakalat.
Oo.
Kapag may talaga.
Nila.
Pag may talaga, parang oh no, nalalaman na ng kabilang department or someone. Kami of course, we have the head office and branches. Ayan. Pag umabot na ng branch, nako, na yan, that's a different
and
story.
And it's a reflection of your work, diba? Na hindi ka professional, hindi ka nagda-double check, and hindi mo alam yung ginagawa mo. Parang bilis lumaki yung issue. Lilit lang ng issue, mali lang yung overtime pay. Sa laki ng issue, napaka-incompetent talaga ng HR department natin.
Yung sinasabi nila Mentor Tina at Mitch is really more of the kind of work that we do in HR impacts everyone. And pag nagkamali tayo, yung integrity natin, yung competency natin, lagi siyang i-question. That's the reason why as much as possible, we need to double check, triple check, and make sure that, di ba, hindi pwede trabahong tama, pwede na. Meron ditong question, how did you started Do you have mentorship when you started to HR?
Actually, it's not that formal mentorship kasi it
Mm.
was it was more guided by kung ano yung immediate superiors ko when ayun, number one when I started the job, and second when I got promoted in the organization. So it's more on like if there's a particular mentorship program, we don't have that one in the company, but it's more on ano na rin yan, innate on the part of the
Mm.
immediate superior on how you going to help these people grow in the company.
Mm. We have a question from Joseph Lorzano Villaflores. As a new
He's not,
HR, how do
he's
you...
a HR, he's a volunteer. Joseph, ikaw ba yan? He's a volunteer of the HRG. And he's an HR VP right now in the BPO.
Oh,
How do you build yourself as a valuable HR
so
and trusted people advisor? Sige, Mitch, how do you build yourself as a
um,
valuable HR?
siguro you try to present yourself as credible person as you could be. Kasi number one, di ba, as we go back again on what we discussed is yung output na pinapresent mo, it reflects you as a person or how you do your things. And siguro, if you want to be someone valuable HR in the company, number one, you try to build your credibility in the organization because as soon as the people trust you or they see you as someone na credible, ano yan ma-establish nila na, ayan, for example, si Daryl, ano yan, kung may concerns ako, I know he can handle whatever the concern that I have. Whether kahit anong klaseng concern pa yan, um, if they see you na he is well-equipped as a person to let you or allow you to handle this concern, I think it's more on you already have the value na rin as an HR.
Meron
Agree.
akong analogy. You have to treat HR a little bit like your significant other. If you trust your significant other, kahit anong sabihin sa'yo ng significant other, paniniwalaan mo. Pero pag may nakita kang butas, yung one time na nag-white lie si significant other, lahat na nung sinabi ng significant other mo, hindi mo paniniwalaan. Saan ka pumunta? Nag-Jollibee ako. Ha? Jollibee ka ba? All because of a little white lie na nahuli mo. Ganon din ang HR. Huwag kang magpapahuli na nagsisinungaling kasi pag nalaman nila isang beses na nagsinungaling ka, they assume na parang araw-araw ka na nagsisinungaling even though it's just that one little time. Di ba? Kaya yung mga bosses mo that you respect, I mean, you have to really guard your honesty and integrity because if nasira talaga yung trust na yan, parang nobody will believe you. So, think of HR as your significant other. Think of that person talaga na hindi ka pwedeng magsinungaling. Pag nagkamali ka, wag kang mag-excuse. Aminin mo na lang. Kasi, it's really a trusted position. And when you have that trust, you will go a long way. But once you lose that trust, ang bilis mo matanggal sa posisyon.
Add ko lang din yung dun nga sa question ni Joseph. Joseph, alam naman natin to, 'di ba? For you to be able to be a trusted advisor and valuable HR partner is sinabi nga ni Mitch, kailangan you have the core values of an HR. You also have the competence of of good HR. And then also, i-add ko lang yung stakeholders management. Yan yung kailangang matutunan din ng mga, lalo na pag nasa supervisory level ka na at managers, stakeholders management, part yan yung managing perception. Kasi minamanage yung perception ng mga leaders mo, not only to you, but also to your department. Yun yung sinasabi ni Mentor Tina na, paano pag nagkamali ka, tapos o nagkamali ng department, iba na yung tingin sa'yo ng department. Pero kung meron kang stakeholders management, kung na-build mo na yung trust mo sa mga stakeholders mo, you know what? Makikita mo, kahit kahit magkamali ka, okay lang sa kanila. Kasi alam nila gagawin mo yung nararapat, gagawin mo yung tama. Pero kung paulit-ulit ka at nagsisinungaling ka at tinatago mo, that's where the problem begins.
Mitch, you said a while ago na in your job, kailangan magaling ang HR mag-explain ng rules and regulations. And alam mo yan, a lot of HRs, when they start, di ba, pag sabi, bakit ganyan yung rules natin? Sabi ni boss eh. Bakit ganyan? Sabi ng handbook eh. Alam mo yan, sabi kasi ng TL, gano'n, di gano'n. Tapos management prerogative palagi yung. Can you describe, emphasize, how you explain the company rules and regulations? Because a lot of people just resort to just saying management is prerogative and sabi ni boss as a way of explain. And alam mo, in our industry, hindi pwedeng ganun lang. It's like, you can't say, that sabi ko as your mom. You can't do that. Mitch, can you explain?
I think, number one, kapag may mga company, mga rules and regulations, you try to speak na as if galing kay HR talaga. Because, kasi, galing talaga kay HR department. That these particular policies, even if it is approved or mandated by the management to be implemented, you should speak na kami ang nagpapa-implement nito. Sa amin nang galing tong policy na to. And they should understand that these things are part of our work as an HR. So if you want to assert that these policies, you try to lang naman it's more on how you're going to deliver na itong mga particular policies na to, this is what we want to impose in the company. We meaning the HR.
Yeah. When you give orders or when you have execute policy, do not remove yourself from the order itself. Kasi sometimes, newbies have a tendency to remove themselves. Sabi ni ganito is a big way for you to destroy your credential. Kasi you remove the authority from yourself and gives it to another person. It might be easier, especially kung hindi mo alam yung ginagawa mo. But later on, it will bite you in the long run. Kasi kung wala ka naman palang magawa, sino ka ba? Bakit ka pa nasa posisyon na yan? So people will immediately lose trust on your capability as an HR. Pero
yan, Mentor Tina, yung mga leaders na nagsasabi na nag-explain sa mga employee nila na sabi ng management. Hindi nila
nakakaasar yun.
Hindi nila naunawaan na sila mismo part ng management, di ba?
Ano pa ba use mo, di ba? Kung hindi mo naman ako matulungan, what's the point? It's a really best way. Kaya ang daming mga subordinates nagrereklamo sa manager kasi laging hugas kamay. Yung mga policies, sabi ko sa nito, tip lang sa mga newbies, please don't do that. This is really the best way to remove people's respect for you and your words.
The Pontius Pilate syndrome. Meron pang question dito. It is great experience if you started without mentorship, sariling sikap, especially for fresh grads. Well, kaya nga po tayo meron mga programs tulad ng HR Cafe, ng Philippines HR Group, at napakarami po mga HR communities ang handa pong tulungan, mag-mentor sa mga newbies ngayon. Kasi nung panahon namin talagang sink and swim. And yung sinasabi kanina, yung nagtanong sa paano kung wala kang mentor, you know what I've learned? Hindi mo kailangan magkaroon ng physical mentor or mentor na lagi mo nakakausap. If you have someone in the industry or in your company na idol mo, and you always, you know how this person thinks, or kumbaga nasusubaybayan mo kung paano yung career niya, what you can do is, put yourself in the shoes of your on that supposed mentor. Ano kaya yung gagawin ni Ma'am Tina pag nandito siya sa ganong situation?
Magagalit.
Diba? Ano yung gagawin ni Mentor Rona pag nasa ganitong situation? Ano kaya yung gagawin ni Sir Alan? Or ano yung gagawin ng boss ko pag ganitong situation? Yung being able to be on that mindset na what can people who have this experience do and be able to channel it to yourself and implement it and ask for opinions also is something that you need to learn as you go up the ladder.
Tsaka fun tip, I find that the HR, the labor code is quite standard regardless of industry, locations. If you're in the Philippines, if you're working for a company in the Philippines, the labor code is blanketed all around. So meron siyang labor code, you have the Bureau of, diba, yung workbook, the handbook. Just read those, go and join the Philippine HR group, and then go and expose yourself to different situations and people's response to it kasi there are legal basis to it. HR is different from taxation, which varies per
Yes.
RDO, which varies per ang dami nilang rules. Even the BIR does not know the rules. But with HR and with DOLE rules and with jurisprudence, pare-pareho yan. It doesn't change too much. Diba na, Mitch?
Actually, yes. Kasi ito labor standard, ano yan, from the
Oo,
very
labor
start
standard is
up
standard
until
in
now.
all
Oo, yun na
industries.
talaga. Mm.
Pero bakit
And I
tingin mo
think,
yung sa mga nakasama mo, 'di ba nakikita mo you're part of HR? Why do you think parang
yeah.
other people don't read? I mean, there's a lot of people who never really grew in their career. They're still rank and file. What do you think was the difference?
I think for me, siguro we try, kasi there's a lot of instances or scenarios talaga that we encounter in the Philippines. In different industries, may mga kanya-kanya tayong experiences. And
Hmm.
basically, when I browse along the Philippine HR
Yeah.
group, ang dami-daming mga
Hmm.
scenario na nakikita. And one of the things na kailangan nating maintindihan is how this particular provision, of course, in this particular provision of the labor law will apply to all. Kasi
Hmm.
number one, may mga concerns din on interpretation eh.
Hmm.
Na bakit yung pag binasa ko, bakit ganito yung sinasabi ng labor law? Or there's a lack
Hmm.
of,
Hmm.
number one, understanding on that particular provision. Kaya tayo
Hmm.
nagkakaroon ng sanga-sanga na opinion,
Correct.
kumbaga.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And siguro, ayan, as a newbie, sa mga newbie, um, actually, I can recommend, number one, try to browse yung Philippine HR group. Yun yung kailangan yung unang i-join. Kasi
Hmm.
you get exposed to different scenarios. Makikita mo talaga how yung mga HR practitioners would respond. Actually, number
Hmm.
one, iba-iba rin yung, may mga na-encounter ako na iba-iba rin yung responses ng mga HR practitioner. For one, siguro, they are trying to apply what's under management prerogative.
Hmm.
Second, there are some who always try to incorporate what's on the law. And at the
Hmm.
end of the day, ano ba yung nararapat base
Hmm.
sa batas na meron tayo
Hmm.
ngayon? Kasi meron
Hmm.
kasing iba minsan na ito kasi yung meron kami. So dapat ito rin yung sa inyo. That's why I already discussed earlier that you should never compare management prerogative of this company versus this another company because they have different ways of
Hmm.
how they go about things
Hmm. Ang daming,
in terms of
I think a
business
lot of
judgment.
dati sa time ng mga mas natatanda, there's no such thing as the Philippine HR group. Everything, you have to go to the library, you have to buy the book itself, and you actually have to read volumes and
Yes.
volumes. Now, all you have to do is Google. Kunyari, illegal term. Kunyari, let's assume solo parent, di ba? Solo parent eligibility 2022. Ayan, Google mo yon. Then read multiple sources. You can even search it from the
Yes.
Philippine HR group. It's the information is easier. Pero sa atin kasi, many newbies, mas madaling magtanong kaysa mag-research. And you
Yes.
excuse it kasi na, kasi bago ako sa industry. Kaya, tinatanong ko na lang kaysa magbasa. But you have to be careful because how you ask the questions shows me what type of person you are. There are questions na mapapaisip ka talaga na, oo nga, ano, like for example, recently we had a rest day on, parang holiday on rest day. I think February 24 was in conjunction with another local holiday. So how do you compute that? So that's a very smart question, right? Kasi, oo nga, no, kasi alam natin yung overtime, alam natin ang holiday pay, pero what if dalawa silang nagkasama? Ano yung multiplier for that? Pero, pag ang tanong mo sa akin is, how do you compute pro rata 13th month pay?
Yeah.
There's a problem with you. You know, there is a difference between the two types of questions. Diba? The first one is, parang, how do you write a notice to explain?
Explain.
Yung mga, Oh, wait, sandali. Di ba na, Mitch, parang there's a
Mm-mm.
difference between the two types of question. Yung isa yung mapapaisip
Mm-mm.
ka na hindi talaga
Mm-mm.
medyo clear. And the other one is like, ba't di mo alam ang prorata? Or paano
Yeah,
mag-compute
yeah.
ng 6 months? Kasi there's so many information everywhere, offline and
Available.
online.
Yeah.
Mitch,
Mm-mm.
yung for you, di ba you have 10 people?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they are newbies. How do you manage them? And how do you pick them?
Actually, mahirap
Kasi now
talaga.
you're a mentor na eh. Di ba? You're now a
Yeah.
mentor
Mm-mm.
somewhat. Oh.
Mm-mm.
So, how would you do that?
Siguro you try to set aside a time for them talaga. Kasi ano yan eh, kasama yan sa trabaho as an HR.
Mm.
So giving them time to address yung issues nila or whatever general concerns in terms of their work.
Mm.
Ayan, try to invest time for them. Kasi
Mm.
one way of appreciating them or getting in touch with them para
Mm.
maramdaman nila there's this superior na nag-guide sila is to show to them na at this I can meet you at this time. Parang
Mm.
you try to give your schedule din sa kanila.
Mm.
And also you try to be get in touch as much as possible kasi actually the setup right now that I have
Mm.
mentor team it's nasa branches lahat ng staff
Mm.
ko. So ako nasa
Mm.
head office. So more on remote
Mm.
ano talaga ako management sa kanila. So, of course, number one, you try to maximize your communication tools. Ayan, we have this group chat. Another thing, if you need a video conference, you try to conduct video conference. Para at least, if you even you're far away from them, at least you can able to monitor or address whatever their issues are or concerns they have at work. Although there are some instances that I go visit to sa branches, of course,
Mm.
ano na yun, that's another thing that I need to do rin as an HR. It's more on you want to uh, commit yourself in terms of engaging to them. I think
Mm.
mas okay nga na person. Sa akin, mas prefer ko na I can have a face-to-face interaction with them kasi iba pa rin yung ano eh, yung nandun ka on that particular situation or
Mm.
on the
Mm.
ground. Kasi kapag nasa branch ako, ito, na-experience ko what they're experiencing on their role or job that they have right
Mm.
now.
You've talked about disappointments, and a lot of HR newbies are disappointed kasi they come into this role full of idealism, tapos nasusupal pala sila ng mga employees. Hindi sila nirerespeto ng mga bosses nila. Parang nagkakamali sila, tapos parang syempre napapagalitan. What is your advice to an HR newbie na medyo nababurnout pa lang sa simula?
Um, Actually, it's how you're going to handle those kind of situations. Kasi
Mm.
ako, ano na yan, number one, ano yan, kasama yan sa trabaho ng HR. And even you transfer to another company, you'll never
Mm.
say na mabait tong magiging boss ko. You
Mm.
will it's a matter of chance na I'll be having this kind of workplace or I
Mm.
have be having this kind of superior. So siguro for those na they feel that they're discouraged, umpisa pa lang,
Mm.
try to think about bakit mo ba talaga gustong pumasok sa HR? And do you think those kind of inconvenience does it help you to grow in the future? Kasi you need to have this growth mindset eh, na hindi lahat ng pagkakataon eh there na parang maganda lang parang hindi ako papagalitan ganyan.
Mm.
Meron pa ring pagkakataon
Mm.
in your role as an HR na hindi may encounter ka or makaka-encounter ka ng mga challenges, and I think yung mga discouragement, ayan, you try to
Mm.
translate it as something that it would be a strength for you to carry on as an HR.
Mm. Tama yung sinabi ni Mitch eh. Learn the lesson from a sad moment. Kasi usually hindi ka naman papagalitan unless merong mali. So instead of focusing on the emotions of somebody giving you a sermon, focus more on why the mistake happened and find the source of the mistake so that you learn not to repeat the same mistake again. Kasi merong pinanggalingan yung galit eh. If an employee is angry, may pinanggalingan yung tao na yun. And it's not always your fault. It might be hindi siya happy sa TL niya. Na ilang linggo na siyang naghahanap ng sagot. Tapos lahat ng tao, binobola siya. So pagdating sa'yo, dun na siya sumabog. So don't take these things personally because may pinanggalingan yung tao na to. It's not always you. Pero learn the lesson. And actually, kung ganun yung na-experience mo, if nasagot mo naman siya ng maayos, na yung tinatanong niya nasagot mo ng tama, yung tao na yun, mag-apologize pa sa'yo, sasabihin niya, sorry talaga, nadala lang talaga ako kasi ilang linggo na ako nagtatanong at wala akong nakukuhang sagot na gusto ko. It's really a learning point, but you have to be that person na it ends with you. Kasi kung papasahin mo lang, sige babalikan kita or tatanungin ko lang sa boss ko, talagang lalong magagalit yung tao na yun kasi HR ka. Hindi mo ba alam yung sagot? And you can't say, hindi ko kasi alam yung case mo eh. Again, babalikan ka, HR ka, hindi mo ba alam yung case ko? Ilang linggo na ako nagre-reklamo, gusto mo ba magdole ako? Tapos lahat ng tao matatakot kasi magdodole yung tao. Magdodole na yan. Focus on the pinanggalingan. Kasi if na-address naman yung issue na yun, madi-de-escalate agad yung problema. Kasi I assume naman, most employees are nice people. Wala namang, a lot of people think, mga employees na to, grabe, masyado sa mareklamo. Hindi naman sila dating mareklamo, may pinanggalingan yan eh. Diba? So you have to really understand. Kasi if you don't understand, you're the problem. You're the problem, not the employee, diba? And tingin mo, Mitch, parang it seems that your company magaling mag-HR eh.
Actually, number one, we try to put our best patience that we could have as an HR. Kasi, yung yung pasensya mo on dealing with different people, with different workplace issues that you have. If you try to really have, kumbaga, extra effort, number one, to have your patience. Kasi, isa rin sa kailangan mo yun para maka-survive ka on those particular scenarios. Kasi if you really lose your patience, nako.
Hindi ka pwedeng mapikon. Pwede kang magalit. Yeah. Pwede kang magalit. Huwag kang mapikon. Kasi pag napipikon ka, babalik. Yung anong sinabi mo pag napikon ka, babalik sa'yo yan.
Yeah, di ba? Parang, siguro, yun, yung patience mo as an HR, sobrang talaga. Yun din yung isa sa mga parang kailangan din ng newbies natin na kahit yung mga issues na nahaharapin nyo. If you want to be be that, kasi number one, hindi mo naman kailangang ipakita na yung masamang side mo as HR for one. Even though you have brands in your mind, anything na lalabas sa'yo, always you try to, filter whatever you want to say. Kasi whatever the employee hears about or whatever employee hears sa mga sinasabi mo, and makita lang nila a single point of not so good thing. Oo. Nako, parang they will try to look at you at pag-iisipan ka na ano ba tong na to? HR.
Hindi, HR is seen as a quite thankless job, hindi ba? And sabi nga nila minsan yung sweldo medyo hindi siya super duper taas tulad ng sales. Pero why did you choose this as a career given that parang lahat na ng trabaho sa'yo, yung sahod, okay lang, and lahat ng problema napunta na sa'yo? Why did you choose this as a career? Why would people stay in this career?
Siguro for me, you try to look on, number one, yung character development mo as a person. Kasi HR will teach you a lot of things. In terms, kung ano man yung nangyari sa work, ma-apply mo sa buhay. And I think that's one of the best things that I had in my career as an HR because whatever things that you encounter, pagdating sa work. If you're able to apply it on your life as a person, kasi makikita nila na your integrity as an HR will also show your integrity as a person. And that's what I like most on being HR din. It's more on the character that it will give you or it builds you as a person. Setting aside the yung salary, yan, yung sinabi mo nga na we don't receive that high salary, pero in terms of the character, and at the same time, if people started to commend your job, yun yung isa din sa pinaka-rewarding for me, because they know that you're doing the right job, and you know na, or it's some sort of validation, kumbaga for me, na this role, despite yung mga challenges, after all, may mga nakaka-appreciate pa rin. Merong mga tao pa rin na makaka-appreciate ng trabaho mo.
For me, I find the HR profession as a very powerful position. People do not give it enough credit kasi there's a lot of HR managers locally that are actually not doing their job as well. May reklamo ang mga tao kasi totoo lang din, may pagkukulang din ang mga kasama natin sa industriya. How many of us actually really know our job end to end? And I think what Mitch shared with us kanina shows yung type of learning na ginagawa niya, na kahit na-promote na siya as HR generalist, he's still learning on the job every single day. Kasi you need to be an expert eh. Kasi people look up to you for explanation and guidance. Kahit na mababa ang kahit na, what do you call it? Even if gaano kataas ang position, like VP or head of a department, tatawag pa rin yan sa HR eh. Alam mo yun? Whereas kunyari, sales ka. It's possible sales manager only talks to one person in the organization, the HR. Pero bahala na siyang kausap niya palagi mga customers, mga suppliers, 'di ba? Pero pag HR ka, lahat ng tao kausap mo eh, from the time they start up until the time they end. And regularly, you're always talking to them. So it's very easy for an HR manager to uplift his reputation within the organization if that manager does his job very well. Sinabi nga ni Goldrock HR, sabi niya, minsan nga daw may mga nagkakamaling HR pagdating sa payslip yung pangalan mali pa daw. Totoo yun. Like I've done Excels na parang hindi naman to yung pangalan ng tao, wrong spelling ng isang letter lang. Right? And an HR makes these mistakes and you wonder why do they make these mistakes? Sabihin nila later kasi sorry, I was careless, 'di ba? Pero parang sa akin, why? Paano ka magkamali pag dinoble check tsaka triple check mo rin? Is that a frustration of yours, Mitch? Pagdating lalo na sa mga tao mo, kasi hindi talaga maiwasan magkamali sila, right?
Yeah. Actually, even checking reports, as simple as
Diba?
you need to, for example,
Yung
yung
date mali, yung month.
Walang junior, ganyan.
Oh, iba yung tao eh. Pag walang junior, iba na yung tao.
Yes.
Lalo na pag
Simple as
nag-ano ka ng
that.
HMO.
And,
di ba yung nagre-register ka ng HMO, for example, tapos pag mali yung spelling, ang laking problema nun. Pag may kulang ka ng junior, pag nagkasakit, malaki problema mo. Pag nagkasakit yung tao na yun, you can't say my staff made a typo. Mitch?
ayun. So, siguro aside from that, yung mga, number one, yung date.
Oh, yung date, month. Di ba March na ngayon? Tapos gagawin nila February. Kasi hindi nila pinalating little mistakes like that. Tapos may nagsabi si JB, sabi niya, which is true, marami din pong HR na pag may tinatanong ka, sila pa po ang galit. Actually, that's very, pag galit yung HR mo, chances are hindi nila alam yung sagot. I'm not kidding. Pag alam nila yung sagot, di sila magagalit. Pero nagagalit sila para hindi ka na magtanong. Yun yung problema.
Ayun. So, actually, Actually, medyo ano rin yan, for me, yun nga, yung patience mo as a person. Pero, kasi ako siguro, if you already said it clearly enough to these people, na wala naman na masyadong, parang, simple and clear na, then, meron kasi mga particular instances na uulit-ulitin yung tanong. If,
Baka
syempre,
hindi
siguro
lang
the
sila
second
magaling
time,
mag-explain.
yeah, one reason,
Mm.
hindi na-explain na maayos sa kanila.
Mm.
And another thing siguro is, um, syempre, these people have their different interpretation pa rin na kung
Mm.
ano man yung nababasa nila sa kung
Mm.
ano yung binibigay ni HR. Syempre, may mga
Mm.
tatanungin. Pero in terms of yung magagalit ka na to the point, I think it happens. Pero ako, when they ask me, ano naman, siguro manageable pa naman yung situation for me that I can still answer them on kung ano yung I can still answer them calmly, ganyan. I try to
Mm.
accommodate them.
Mm. There's no reason naman why people should get angry at the job eh. Kasi and then people forget kasi ang mga employees niyo, tao ninyo 'yan. You're working, you're playing on the same team. So if the people in the same team fight each other, nagkakaroon ng kampo, that becomes a problem. Productivity drops, people get mad at each other, nagkakaroon ng office politics. The job of the
Yeah.
HR is to prevent that from happening, is to be the third party na walang kinakampihan, right? And but people look at HR kasi
Yes.
sometimes as a power play. Kaya that's the reason why, ito lang for
Mm-mm.
me, if you're gonna do HR, wag masyadong power tripping kasi it's a poor reflection. Ang daming company talaga na ang lagi nirereklamo yung HR. Na hindi daw, wala daw kwenta, hindi daw marunong, sablay na naman. And it's so hard to defend because when you hear those stories, totoo talagang sablay. 'Di ba? And then the person's like VP of HR, ang ganda-ganda ng mga companies, pero ang sablay talaga ng HR nila. And how do I defend? How do you defend? Pero it's true. The HRs are not doing their jobs. But I'm glad sa inyo, 'di ba? You wouldn't have stayed if your boss was incompetent. Right? And maybe
Mm.
that's why, Mitch, you're
Siguro,
also staying there for 5 years. Kasi if you have an incompetent boss, you wouldn't stay there.
and siguro number one, I was really guided along the way then as an
Mm.
HR. And parang they gave me the opportunity rin to, of course,
Mm.
number one, to express whatever my thoughts, or kunyari, when it comes to decision making,
Mm.
they're trying to consider the inputs pa rin
Mm.
of people.
Mm. We're almost at
Yun
the end of
yung,
the show. Any last words from you? And after that it's me, and then we'll end the show.
I think for, ito siguro for HR newbies, I think number one, I'll see you soon in the industry. And once you enter the profession of HR, um, try to go along with the changes or kung ano mang adversities na may encounter nyo. It's a normal thing that happen. And to end this, ang sa akin, coming from my generation, ayun, we try to keep hold on whatever we have, or kung ano man yung makukuha natin once we enter the field. Because aside from the learning opportunity, if you really want to grow as an HR practitioner, you need to keep learning. You try to help yourself out to be successful in your career, in the career that you chosen, which is HR.
First
So
job mo
yun.
to, Mitch, or hindi?
This is my first job, and I'm still here.
Mm. I challenge everyone to please rewatch the presentation of Mitch Daryll Tacus. Okay? Baka first pahid hindi kayo masyadong nag-take notes. But watch how he presented. I want you to look at how he deals with things. Kasi it's his first job. He's been in the company for 5 years, wherein yung a lot of people think that's an achievement na. Pero there are certain things that make him a bit special. Number one, he came in very humble. He used his job as a college, parang college, parang nag-master siya in HR, pero practical HR. Every day ng pagpasok niya, lagi niyang iniisip, ano pa ba ang hindi ko alam? And aalamin ko siya habang ako ay nagtatrabaho and binabayaran ako habang ginagawa ko to. Versus nung nag-college siya, na siya ang nagbabayad sa kolehiyo. At Home Depot, he gets paid to learn. And Mitch is not happy just punching in and out of the clock. He uses the time given to him by his employer to improve his knowledge, improve his skills, and improve his work attitude. He's creating a career, a CV, that will make him very attractive to future employers. Imagine, first job mo, nagstay ka ng 5 years, nag-start ka as timekeeper slash payroll, and then after that, this is what you did year per year per year. People, it makes a lot of recruiters love that because you showed growth within the company. Then when you see Mitch, diba, when he talks, he medyo, kasi I persuaded him to do this presentation, he's a bit nervous. Pero what you can see with Mitch is, yung when you listen to his words, magaling siyang mag-explain. Sinasabi niya, I have to explain my rules and regulations to my staff. It's not just, I'm preparing the admin, I'm preparing the payroll, I give it to them, bahala na sila. He actually takes the time to be able to understand his deliverables so he can explain it to the staff. So when any random staff, thousands of staff, ask him a question, he can answer it on the spot. Because a big problem of newbie HR is, babalikan kita. Do not show you don't know. Diba? And the challenge is, anong gagawin ko? Do I lie? No, do what Mitch does, which is make sure you understand what you are doing so that anyone who asks you about your job, you can answer correctly and with confidence. Kasi na-double check mo na yung payroll mo. Alam mo yung labor code. Alam mo paano mag-compute ng overtime pay. So you can explain it to anyone who asks. Kasi you know your thing. So even if you are in your early 20s, people will not care. 20s ka, pero alam mo yung ginagawa mo. Versus 40s ka, binobola mo lang kami lahat. Right? Imagine yourself in your 20s. Sabi niya, Mitch, he's a newbie HR. Pero he doesn't talk like a newbie HR. He talks like a manager. He talks like a seasoned HR. And that's one of the reasons I love his talk. Kasi he's young. Pero the work that he does is over-exceed. Thirdly, pansin mo yung trabaho niya, hindi lang niya alam isang bagay. A lot of people say, well, you know what, I only do this because my boss just gave me this opportunity eh. Pero di ba pinag-usapan natin kanina, the boss will give you more opportunities if you are more capable. But if you are making mistakes sa pangalan ng tao, sa pag-compute ng total, sa pagkalimutan mo ng pagka-double check, how can the boss give you more opportunities if you keep on making simple mistakes? If you are an HR newbie, minimize those mistakes. Make it as if pag nagkamali ka, sobrang gumuho ng mundo mo. Kasi it's your deliverable that you're presenting to the world. And your boss should not say anything about your deliverable. Wala siya dapat maisermon sa'yo kasi tama naman yung ginagawa mo. Pag hindi mo pa tapos, pwede ka pang magtanong. Pag nag-submit ka na, wag kang maipit na nagkamali. Ask all the questions before you submit. Pero once you submit, panindigan mo na tama yung ginagawa mo because that is what an HR does regardless. Lastly, for me lang, na as an HR newbie, the resources are available for you. Many of you watch the show because it's free learning. My question is, do you understand what Mitch Daryll Tacus is telling us? Which is why I strongly encourage everyone to rewatch what he just said. Kasi ako, I'm a very practical HR manager. Ang dami niyang sinabi na medyo mukhang simple lang, pero may pinanggalingan siya. Yung sinasabi niya na may times talaga na may employees ka na magagalit sa'yo, dapat wag ka mang impersonal. That means na-experience na yon, 'di ba? Yung sinasabi niya na yung dapat magaling ka mag-explain, that means kasi that he encountered that problem before. And ito yung solution niya. So there's a lot of wisdom to his presentation. And for me is, if there is one advice I would give an HR newbie is, sana maging katulad din tayo ni Mitch, na I can describe as one word, may kusa. Lahat ng tao nagsasabi, magaling ako, masipag ako, pero you can see talaga may kusa yung tao. And when you have kusa in the HR field, never ka matatalo. Never ka matatalo. And I promise you, sabi nga ni Gold Rock, 10 years mababa sweldo. Next 10 years mataas ang sweldo. Because really, parang kang doktor. Habang 28 years old ka, resident ka ng ospital, mababa pa sweldo mo. Pero as you go, gumagaling ka. As gumagaling ka, tumataas yung value mo. If Mitch was a stock, I'd buy him today. If I'd buy him today because I think his career will be quite glorious. Kayo, tanong ko sa inyo ha, if meron kayong naghahanap ng HR manager, would you be afraid to refer Mitch for that job? Hindi eh. Because it's not the age, it's not the experience lang, it's how he does it. So strongly encourage everyone to please rewatch his webinar kasi it's how he does it that makes him as an HR newbie more successful than everybody else. Ayan. So with that, thank you so much for watching the HR Cafe. Sana may natutunan po kayo and I hope we can repeat this kasi ang daming HR newbies talaga sa PHRG. And I really hope that we can give you a lot of value and to help you. Kasi dati talaga walang ganitong webinar, walang PHRG, and everybody talaga sariling kayod. Ito na, lahat na binibigay na sa inyo. So we hope talaga that you can use it talaga for your own successes. And with that, thank you so much, Mitch. I think it was very successful. A lot of people are still here with us. You can still watch the replay to our show. Strongly encourage that. And with that, happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday, everyone.